Broadcasting from a little island in Canada called Montreal to the world, indierockradio.ca. Hey, everyone. Hello and welcome once again to another episode of Indie Scene here on indierockradio.ca. And of course, all over the world, everywhere you want it to be, here live, Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube fans, all alike. Hey, what's happening, John? What's happening? He's so quiet tonight. That doesn't have much to say. John, can you hear me?
Hello.
Are you there?
Yes,
Hello.
I'm here.
Yeah, that's it.
I'm here.
Anyways, Junior is supposed to join us, but I think he's having a little bit of technical issues once again. He'll be with us shortly. Right now, we got John in taking the helm along with me. And tonight, we got a really cool interview. Tell us a little bit about it, John.
So we have Michael James Miller. He will
Mm-hmm.
be one of our artists. Requested us
Yeah.
to play some great songs of his on our station. Listen to them.
You got to talk closer to the mic, dude. I can't hear you.
Listen to them. Listen to his tracks.
Mhm.
Like them.
Yeah.
And decided to play them on our station and then reach out to Michael James himself and ask him to do an interview with us, and he willingly accepted pretty fast. So it was nice to get a fast response. So, because we do fill up our little calendar
Mm-hmm.
faster than we
That's
can.
it. So, and so to let some of the bands know how this all works or whatever, Indie Scene has been running for 35 years now, supporting local and worldwide artists from all over the world in the independent music circuit. And we've been, God knows how many bands I've seen come through these gates, along with some great stars and so on. One of the cool things about the show is you get real in depth into the artists themselves, and they give us a little bit more of a background of some of the great music that we play on the station. And of course, Michael has been blowing up the radio airwaves with this. I am here. Send in. I did, Junior. Check your phone, Messenger. So he is there. He is there. He's hidden somewhere in cyberspace and so on. So basically what we're going to do, hello, Morris. How are you? Good old Mo. It's my friend Lori's dad, who really digs our country music show on the weekends. He's one of the fans of our country music show at Warren Eastfold. As we call it, Roadhouse. That's why I want to do like an intro for a show with like Peter Griffin doing Roadhouse and stuff. You know, when he goes to battle with that chicken and stuff. So yeah, that would be real cool. Anyways, we have got some great guests lined up for the next few weeks. I think we're quite booked all the way up until the end of June, for artists.
Yeah, the end
Last
of June,
week,
the
of course.
of July.
Yeah, last week, of course, we were to have a wonderful band, a duet, and which inspired me, and I started playing Indigo Girls, just thinking about that type of band or whatever. And we started playing Indigo Girls, and John started playing them also, along with an old song that we haven't played in a long time, which was from called Seether or whatever, which has been played on Women of Rock and so on. Anyways, while we're at it, we might as well let you know the schedule that we were supposed to have Susie D take over the Women in Rock show. She has come up with some, and it's understandable. She just got plain busy. She's a singer. She had an opportunity, a very big opportunity with her music and stuff. So we decided to, part ways or whatever, and we're going to be searching for a new host for the show. So if you are a female and you dig women in rock and you want to take a chance at hosting that show, you can simply send me and John an email. John, which email should they send that to?
jblakemore at indierockradio.ca, or if you want the general mailbox where we look at it, it's the admin at indierockradio.ca. But
That's
if
it.
you're
Just submit
submitting
your
music, if you're submitting
yeah.
music to us, we ask you to submit it to music at
Hmm.
indierockradio.ca. Nowhere
That's
else.
it.
It goes to admin, we're going to ignore it. Please
Yes,
send us
yes.
some
Like you're not
music.
even there. Mhm.
Yeah.
But we will be giving out that information of how to get onto the show and also how to get your music played on the station a little bit later in the show. Anyways, cool stuff. Hopefully Junior is coming in here sooner or
Says
later.
resend the
I think
link.
he's still lost in cyberspace. Yeah, I sent it to him. It's there.
He says
He's got it in
resend it.
Messenger. Yeah, I already resent it. So. Um, Yeah, that's it. He's got to get his way here. He's got to learn how to walk on his own. He has to. So, anyways, we got some great music we're going to play for you. We got Michael J. Miller coming up for you in just a little bit. Hopefully, all the fans are tuned in for Michael J. Miller. Of course, he's all the way from Ontario, eh? Somewhere out in Ontario. One of our Ontario cousins, shall we say? As long as when they get to the Toronto area, though, we're a little bit more because the Maple Leafs, Canadians, yeah, still that rivalry going on. Even though we didn't make it that far this year in the playoffs, did we, John? Mm-mm.
No, we didn't even make it.
No. Yeah, that's it. So, listen, a couple of things I found out in the news today. One of the members of Depeche Mode has passed away. Forgot the name or whatever, but one of the strong members of Depeche Mode has passed away. Also, the drummer of Yes, 71 years old, passed away today. So, man, we're losing rock stars by the dozen. So this is one of the great things about this show is because we're supporting independent music, and this is the future generation of the next great rock and roll stars that will carry on the torch for all these amazing musicians that we've lost in the past little while. Right now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to play you some cool music, and then we're going to come back with Michael J. Miller here. You're tuned to Indie Scene with Bling and Junior on indierockradio.ca. And let me just get to the music bed here. Let's see. I got to play something that doesn't get blocked, right? Because we don't want getting blocked. 2-2. Okay, that's it. Stars after the lounge. Okay, who stars after the lounge? Stars. Oh, stars after. Okay, see, I can't even read my own stuff or whatever. One of our previous guests on the show here, After the Lounge, we're going to play one of their cool videos right now called Stars, which is a really amazing video, along with a couple other things. By the way, John, what's the news on Morgan Dust?
Morgan Dust will be doing their interview in a few weeks. What happened was they did drop the album last week, but because the producer made some forgot about us kind of but felt so bad about it, we will be doing the
Their
interview in 2 weeks.
producer?
Yes,
Their
because what happened
producer?
was in Australia, in the Netherlands, she booked 9 release drops. So forgot about us. It
Well,
wasn't
no,
intentional
no,
by her.
no. We're still in there, John. We're the Canadian exclusive release of it, so don't worry about
Yeah,
that. We want.
that's
I'll
what I
go
told her. I
back
said
and
we
say
need
that
them
we
on
want
the
Canadian
Canadian
exclusivity. That's it. Nobody else in Canada is releasing that album but us. We love Morgan Dust. Anyways, we'll play one of their tracks too. So right now, here we go, folks. Here's After the Lounge for you here on Indie Scene with Bling and Junior. John Blakemore in the studio along with me, and coming up, Michael J. Miller right after this bed of music.
With the stars, yeah, they lie bright in the sky tonight. Yeah, they're all above us. Let them beam down on us, and they'll fall down on us. Ooh, and we'll catch them if they
up the all above galaxies of hearts. It's all about a story when the sun goes down for good. Right here, you're shooting stars, right where you are. Right here, right back where you are. Take me, take me, take me. Take me to the stars. Oh, you don't know how beautiful you are. The gleam of light looks so beautiful in your eyes. You gotta take me, take me, take me right back to the stars. Listen, oh listen. Can't you hear them stars beaming right here, baby, between Venus and Mars? We look up the all above like many diamonds in the sky. All the constellations when the sun goes down for good.
With the stars, yeah, they lie bright in the sky tonight. Yeah, they're all above us. Let them beam down on us, and they'll fall down on us. Ooh, and we'll catch them if they fall.
like many diamonds in the sky. All the constellations when the sun goes down for good. Right here, we're shooting stars. Yeah, right where you are.
Come all you children, all you lost and lonely. Hear all you busted, all you waves and strays. The world is out there, you could be free if only we use our hands and free our chains. It ain't the heartless, it ain't the blinded, baby. Don't be misguided by their suits and ties. It's about you and I making it together, baby. From where we stand, we build it with our hands. It's hands that make, build, create, valuable and even fake. Hands that help, caress and save. with your hands. Build it with your hands. Cry if you want to, it will get you nowhere. Scream at the ones you don't even know. Don't look for an answer in your mother's eyes. Think of a new way to ease your mind. It's hands that make,
And there we go, folks. A little bit of course, Playhouse for you here on IndieRockRadio.ca. And just before that, Junior's here. And just before that, we had, of course, Morgan Dust, along with At the Top of Everything, After the Lounge, and a cool video called Stars that we started everything off at the top. Junior, what's going on?
I tell you, well, that storm, did you guys get much of it your way that happened just a couple of days ago, Bling?
No. What happened was it skipped us over here, and it went more towards Laval, north of the island of Montreal. So it just kind of like took this little detour. But we heard about it. These guys got trees down and all kinds of shit over there.
Not so much in my area, but kind of, if you think kind of maybe, we did get some winds, but kind of Barrie and more going east, my friends in Ajax and so on. But you have some more coming. So I was just on with you, and then we've got another storm coming through. So in the next 24 hours, you have some more coming.
And I'm just
so hoping. I had to go on. I have to go on with my phone because I didn't want to. I wanted to make sure. So anyway,
we saw you peeking in, checking out the screen very clearly. So that's cool. It's glad that you showed up here and everything is good. We've had our issues with StreamYard and the signal and all kinds of stuff, but you know what? We somehow get this show together each and every week, and it's been a gas. So
there's been a few guys with their shows and all that, but either way. So how are you? Other than that.
Well, as you can see, building all kinds of muscular stuff or whatever for a 55-year-old man. I think I'm doing quite well. Yesterday, I wasn't able to pick up. I was unloading like 2 truckloads yesterday from 2 different locations. So by 9 o'clock last night, I started at like 8 in the morning, and then I finished at 9 at night because I'm doubling up on contracts. And I was just so spent by 9 o'clock last night. I think I was in bed by 10:30, sleeping like a little baby. It was hilarious.
That's the new midnight anyway for us guys that are our age, for God's sakes.
Totally.
What's going to make it tough if when you decide, say, whatever, wanting to go to a show, if it hasn't happened on the last show that you're there, say everything's just kind of getting going about, say, 10:30, quarter to 11, Bling, and you're going, what are these?
We're not staying for the headliner, that's for sure. While we're at it, we just played Playhouse or whatever. Did you get any word back? I heard they rocked the Rock Pile. For sure, man. They was there doing their show not long ago, and Pete was. It's the first time I've ever seen him get nervous like that. He was posting stuff on Facebook that he was getting the jitters, man. I don't think he's ever played the Rock Pile before, and it's got its reputation, and you got to go in there strong and get your shit done when you pop into that place.
I think it's a good thing. I've only had one guy that I can even think of, to be honest with you. I won't even say his name, but I never call it a whole, I guess you could say. But you know what? They brought they have over the years, way before I even got to know them back 2018. Some fabulous. It's an honorary thing to be on the walls of the Rock Piles. So you know what? I think it ends up being, from how I gather, in this. You heard Darby Mills talk about and you know about this, a Class A, Class B type deal, but that next level it's somewhere always right about here, Bling, and then from that point, that's why you hear the people you are either special guests for or supporting act of, whoever the case may be, type deal. So that's who Rock Pile is, and then every now and again, these superstars that we've come to know over the years, you know what? I kind of respect that they don't think they're all that, meaning that they will still step back into a smaller venue. And from my experience, it's for the fans. And I so dig that. You're not going to see, I don't mean, like say Motley Crue or whoever, jump into a smaller venue for the sake of. But for those that do, I mean, I think it's just awesome. And then the guys and girls, they're able to get on the same stage as them. It's that special. Yes, to play Rock Pile is that special.
That's cool. So listen, we're gonna we got some cool announcements to make a little bit later. We have got our guy sitting in the green room here, so I want to jump right.
Oh, he is.
Yeah, Mike. Mike is here. He's been sitting with us. Sorry, we don't have any sort of sandwiches or pickles or anything inside our green room there, Mike. But here you go, buddy. It is showtime. So, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Michael J. Miller, welcome to Indie Scene. Here we go.
Michael,
Hey everybody, how you doing,
Hey,
Bling Junior?
Hey,
doing well.
excellent.
Great.
Once
Nice
again,
to
welcome
meet
to Indie Scene, and great to have you on the show here.
you. Thank you.
First thing I spotted, Junior, when I saw him on camera over here, look at that freaking collection back there. This is a man who loves his guitars.
Yes.
This is for sure. Yeah.
Grew up with
Wow.
one in my hand.
Yeah. One of them is pretty special because you got them right there in the background. What year are those Stratocasters?
Well, those three Stratocasters you're looking at are actually all custom built. I have a
Oh.
guitar builder. He builds
Okay.
great guitars and sells them around the world.
Mhm.
They're costly, but they're well worth it.
Yes.
These ones are styled after a 57 vintage American Stratocaster.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's, the contouring of the neck and the body shape is really sleek, and they're beauties to play.
That's why I was looking at them and asking you the year because I was spotted that they look like the old 57s or whatever. They're really sweet, man.
Yeah,
Nice.
it's great. Like if I pick one up,
Yeah. And what is the having them custom made compared? Now, listen, we're not trying to offend Fender or anything like that, but what is the difference having them custom made? Is there's like a difference in tonality and stuff like that, or it's just like a real nice bend in the neck? You know, getting that right note in there.
well, down to it. If you go into a store and try to find a Fender that's
Mhm.
great, you may be looking for a while if you really know what you're looking for. But my guitar builder, he knows exactly what I want. He uses hand-selected woods that are from a specialty wood shop. This plank was 20 years old before he carved it into a body. And you know, it's funny. What really sold me on the idea is I had a Gibson SG in his shop that I had came to pick up. And at the same time, I had ordered my first guitar to be built from him. So I walked in to get my SG, and he grabs this plank, a board about, I can't even stretch my, about 3.5 feet long, 3 feet long, and he holds it up in the air, and he goes, "You see this?" He goes, whack, and the thing goes, and it just kept ringing and ringing and ringing. And I said, that is going to be an amazing guitar. I can't believe it. I've never heard a piece of wood sing like that for so long in my
Hold
life.
its tone, yeah.
Yeah. So that right there taught me something about the quality of wood and its resonant ability, right?
Who's the builder, Michael?
Bob Wojcik. Bob Wojcik. You probably heard his name. He's built for lots of guys.
Well, I know. You still live in Godrich?
No, I'm in the Toronto area. But,
Yes. Okay.
I love Godrich for sure. Yeah,
Excellent.
Lake Huron, I miss it. But this guitar thing, he knows the type of neck that I want and the type of radius and just the way my hand fits right around it, right?
Yeah.
So, and then all the hardware itself, I use the vintage vibrato, and
Nice.
he's trying to get not a glare on the guitar. Sorry.
Yeah. No, we see it well. Yeah.
These are Seymour Duncan. This is a reverse
Pickup, yeah.
wound pickup, and then there's a DiMarzio hot reel down here.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So like all the hardware itself is hand picked, and the wood hand carved, and his necks he makes them by hand. Yeah. So they feel beauty in my hand. There's nothing else that really I want to play, to tell you the truth.
See, Junior, I knew he was a lover of guitars before he even got on the show because did you notice he made a comment on your picture? Junior had posted a picture on our Facebook page with Ted Nugent's guitar. And you remember you put a liking on that. I saw that, Mike.
Yeah. I think about how it was sold or was at an Anvil show or something like that.
Yeah.
And it was sold for a lot of money. That was donated.
Michael, you're very familiar with Lips and Steve over the years. If you're a Toronto boy, you know, come on, you know I'm at the Rock Pile, so you know Steve very well.
Believe it or not, I auditioned for Lips in 1977 before I started Rapid Tears.
Okay.
I did. Yeah, so then there was Anvil and Rapid Tears, and the two of us going at it, meddlers from the city, right?
All right, yeah.
Yeah, I've known him for a long time. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we probably maybe back in that time ran into each other here.
Oh, yeah, rock and roll heaven. There's where the good times were. Okay. Yeah, let the good times roll. We did.
Well, I just say that because you brought up 1977, Michael. Well, that's when Q107 went to air. Was 1977. It's that long ago, my friend.
So we're all pushing. We're all pushing. As long as we got hair, we're happy. You know what I mean? So that's what it's all about. You and Junior are doing all right. Myself, I just gave up, man. The hair banging days are over, or as John likes to put it, the hair banger's ball. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. See, I don't know if you can spot it, but John's in the green room right now shaking his head, not realizing he has no hair anymore. But I was laughing because when we went to go see Playhouse at their record launch and stuff, John was literally at the stage head banging like this. I'm going, John, you got no fucking hair, man. What's going on, dude? You know, but he's swinging away anyhow, just having himself a good old time.
Well, that's cool. I mean, headbanging, it's a feeling, right? I mean, anybody who wants to headbang, let them do it, man. It's great because it's a lot of motion, you know, compared to what's going on with the music scene right now. Headbangers.
Hey, Scotty, how are you?
Yeah, Scotty has left us a comment here. Can never get enough guitars. Yep, it's a sickness. I'm trying to get help. Yeah, sure you are. Who is Scott? Is this one of your friends, Mike? Or
acquaintance that I know of. He's done actually very well, and I think he may. I know of him myself. I'm not sure about Michael, but so let's go back to that, Michael. You had reached out back quite some time ago to me. Because of the solo, I noticed that we have a lot of associates in the industry. I knew that you had some time in the Goderich area. So the fans that don't know much about you and your music, can we go back a little bit and talk about, is that actually where you were brought up, is the Goderich area, or can we go from where you were brought up?
That's a great place to start. Yeah, I grew up in Goderich on beautiful Lake Huron. One of the 5 Great Lakes. Some people say Goderich. Is that anywhere near Barrie or Peterborough? I go, no. They go, Lake Huron. That's in the Kawarthas, right? And I go, oh my God, no. It's like, Lake Superior, Lake Michigan, Lake Huron. It's a big one. Yeah.
I'm on Georgian Bay, Michael.
Okay, so you know the beauty of the real nice. Fresh, clear.
So let's go back to Goderich. Let's go back to Goderich. Then go ahead.
Yeah. Geez, I grew up with a good family, a nice town, and I started. Well, I was hearing music since I was a child because I had brothers 10 years older than me that would always be playing the newest singles and following the chum charts, and so I got all the influence a child could ever get as far as what was trending at the time and how it was changing. And, you know, I saw the Beatles. I was only 3 or 4, but I saw them on Ed Sullivan's show a few times. And then my other brother played guitar, and he had a band for a while. And I started lessons at the age of 9. And,
okay, great.
Yeah. So I dug my guitar, and I found myself just naturally putting chords together and making imaginary songs in my mind. Of course, didn't know what a recording studio was or how to finish a song, but I would get these ideas.
This is at that age, Michael?
This is like at 11 or 12. 11 or 12, I would be getting ideas. Wow. And then there was another guy in a grade older than me who was with a band with some kids that were in high school. This is when I was in grade 7 or approaching 8. And their guitar player, unfortunately, he played hockey and was hit in the chest with a puck and it killed him on stage. Sad to say.
Oh my God.
I mean, on the ice. And anyways, I wound up going in and filling in for him, and I became part of that band and their writer. And we actually got some good gigs back in high school. I mean, we opened up for Lighthouse, and which is a good gig when you're in high school.
Absolutely, yeah, great band.
In grade 9, it was cool playing for thousands. So yeah, it was cool. And so I did my high school thing, and then when my band reached the age where we were called Touch, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
Touch. It's actually a good name. No one's ever used it. We should use it now. But when they decided they wanted to go off to university, I decided it was time to move to Toronto and put a new band together and be in the place where it's going to happen or can happen. Right?
Right.
Yeah. We got a listener from all the way from the Philippines saying hello, Christina Flores, saying hello, watching from the Philippines. So yeah, man, we are worldwide now, buddy. Don't be
beautiful. Thank you for watching.
Excellent. So yeah, it sounds like you know, like most typical rock stars, you started at an early age, seeing the Beatles and all those things, and being inspired by rock and saying, "Shit, I want to do this," right? Yeah. And what was it like? I mean, at the beginning of any rock star's career, you have to literally spend hours upon hours with blisters and fingers bleeding and so on, homing your talent and stuff. What were some of your inspirations when it came to guitar playing?
I would say Mark Farner from Grand Funk is one of the Grand Funk live album.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
When I heard that album, it was really kicking, eh? And I remember
I'm your captain is going to be the best fucking rock song in history.
Yeah, it's beautiful. And then there's all kinds on that album, like TNUC. That's a whole different ballpark there. But Mel Shocker on the bass is ripping. But I remember my sister trying to get me to learn some riffs from the Grand Funk album. Mm-hmm. And then my brother trying to get me to learn riffs from Cream, just Really Gears album, right? Mm-hmm. And yeah, so you know, trying to learn cover music at that age definitely taught me how to play, and taught me how these guys are making the great sounds, and I learned how to do them, right?
Yeah.
And yeah, I definitely dealt with the blisters on the fingers, but I outgrew those, and so playing after a while wasn't a problem. I mean, there's different stages you go through when you're learning guitar. Learning bar chords, that's another thing where your whole
well, the best part is where you start. Is usually everybody starts with Smoke on the Water back in the day, right? Remember that was that.
I remember when I started that song hadn't been written, but I tried to learn House of the Rising Sun.
Oh, there we go.
It had 4 chords: A minor, C, D minor, and then when that F chord came, I had to borrow that one little finger, and I was a little guy. I couldn't do it right. It was a problem, and I had to work on that F for a while. But those are the trials and tribulations, right?
Yeah. Well, I did notice that you do something very similar to an artist named Frank Marino. You're familiar with him, Frank Marino, Mahogany Rush. That your guitars are made custom, but I'm also noticing, as you were saying, that they're made to your thing. I noticed that I think you thinned the neck out a little bit, so that way you can up your speed on the guitar. Shall we say?
This neck is pretty thin, if you can see.
And you use lighter strings, I guess, or
I do use. I use 9. Well, I'm tuned down now, so I use 10 to 46. But on standard tuning, I use 9 to 42.
Yeah. That's one of the great tricks of the old days, man. Thinning down the neck, lighter strings, speed comes in, man. That's it. Because when they teach you guitar, literally they're telling you have to. It's rounded in the back because you have to cup your hand around it and so on, in order to get your chords just right. But sometimes it's better to lean your thumb on the back or whatever. So when it's thin, you can lean your thumb, put a little bit more strength, a little bit more tonality into you're playing, I guess. Eh? Am I
Yeah,
right?
it depends what kind of maneuvers you're trying to do.
Yeah.
I mean, if
Yeah.
you're trying to rip off some leads, too bad I don't have this plugged into an amp. But
Yeah.
if you want to
Well,
really,
we're hoping you're going to play some live stuff for us. You do have an acoustic back there, so if you can play us a song in a bit there. But we want to find out more about what makes Michael J. Miller tick. So
well,
tell us
yeah. Sorry,
a
I
little
was
bit
gonna.
more about your history coming up in the business and stuff like that. Tell us a little bit more of your journey from then.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
so I moved to Toronto and I already had the name in my head, Rapid Tears. And I mentioned it to the drummer that helped me form the band. And he said that's a great name. And all the members that we wound up getting collected, they felt it was a great name to go with. So
Mhm.
that was a journey in itself, putting the band together. And
Mhm.
we were writing all original material, of course, and we wound up getting a manager who was the manager of the Hell Drivers, which is not a musical group; it's smash up derby cars, right?
No
But
way.
remember them, the Hell Drivers? They would
I
they'd
do.
roll
Yeah,
into,
out of Peterborough.
yeah, they'd
Yeah.
roll into town and just be screaming all night, right? And
Yeah.
quite an event for a town. They'd usually have them go around their local horse racing track
That's
and
it.
just demolish it, I guess. But yeah, so George Rivers, GWR Productions was their first manager, and he got us in on a few good things. One was a Scarborough Cable half-hour show, which is quite a funny story because they had been filming groups and featuring them on their show, which had never been a problem for them. But Rapid Tears came in, and we had walls of Marshalls, and we were playing downright metal, and we were loud. So
Yeah.
so and we moved in there at noontime. So and had everything set up by 2, and then we started going for it. And I think somebody popped in the door and went, "Oh my God!" And they went running. And then a little later, we heard that the whole Scarborough Cable building, everybody decided to stop working for the day because they couldn't hear or think. Right?
Crazy.
Which was pretty neat. And that video wound up getting aired multi times a day for years on Scarborough Cable, which was pretty cool. And then, yeah, our manager he got us some good gigs like down at the CNE City TV stage, and let's see, and then we kind of parted companies due to some certain things, and we found different management, and they were reputable people, but they said, we think you guys should start doing cover. We'll be able to book you, or some cover, and we'll be able to book you a lot more. And we thought, well, it is kind of hard getting some gigs. Being all original, a lot of places don't want to hire you because they think you're going to be no good. So we said, okay, we'll throw in some cover. And they said, great, because we can book you all over the place, right? So we put these cover tunes together, and what do? They send us to Quebec.
Yeah, there we go.
The Electric Circle. The Electric Circle.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, yeah. Lots of nice places in Quebec City. We were up and down. It's surprising what it's like to go to Quebec, all the way to Quebec City, and then come back down and play to Chaudière and Holland and have to go up to Roberval. You know where Roberval is?
Roberval, yeah.
Yeah, on Lake St. John. Lake St. John.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was, well, there were still icebergs in the lake in the middle of June.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was cool. And there was there was a lot to take in when we did that tour. But I remember spinning around on the expressway in Montreal after being up there for about 6 weeks, saying, "Guys, like, I feel like we're getting nowhere doing this. We've got to go back."
Well, you were in the middle of nowhere. You were in Roberval.
That's right. Yeah, so I wasn't half wrong.
It's like,
Um,
yeah, where are you sending me? Like, if you're gonna send me anywhere, send me to Toronto, Winnipeg,
yeah,
Calgary, all those places. In the main city. Why are you sending me out into the little bit of bumfuck nowhere? It's like, yeah, I
yeah,
get you.
yeah. It
Yeah.
was a little hard to take in that sense. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, I remember in Robertville, we had these really tall PA stacks,
Mm-hmm.
and a big Indian who was huge. He came
Mm-hmm.
up and he started shaking like honoring that PA because it was rocking the building
Yeah.
and shaking the cabinets. And I'm going,
Yeah.
oh man, I hope the guy doesn't bring him down, right?
Yeah.
It was quite something. Yeah, you
Yeah.
guys are good,
Like, how
man.
big was this guy? Was he like as big as the guy in that Jack Nicholson movie or whatever, one who flew over the cuckoo's nest? Like the guy who literally can rip the chairs and throw them through the window type of thing?
Well,
Then
he
I'd
was,
be nervous about the stacks.
yeah, it made us nervous for sure. Kind of big like that, you
Okay.
know.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'd be nervous too.
and yeah, a lot of nervous situations can happen when you're playing the parts. But
Yeah, dude.
it's funny because we were in Montreal at the time,
Yeah.
making a turn on one of the ramps and
Mhm.
having a bit of a band meeting on our tour in the car.
Mhm.
And I
Yeah.
said, guys, we've got to go back and start get a recording deal. We know a studio that has offered us one. Let's go back and start on this album, right?
So this is what year, Michael? This is what year?
This would have been 1981.
Okay, go ahead.
Yep. And so we went back and approached the record company, Chameleon Records,
Mhm.
and they offered us a deal. It's funny, at the time, shortly after signing the deal with them, Attic Records also offered us a deal as well, which a number of other bands, I think Anvil were with them at the time.
That's correct. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Attic is it. Yeah.
but we were already kind of start into the production already and comfortable with our working environment, and the deal had been signed, and we said, well, let's not upset anything and just stay with the deal we have.
Mhm.
So we continued the recording of that album, and it was done on 8-track 1-inch tape.
Oh, remember the
Okay.
old reels? Eh? Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
reel to reel 1-inch 8-track,
And then put a little tape.
and then
Hey,
it
a little
mixed
tape.
down to quarter-inch stereo, right?
Yeah.
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 So that was our first album, and
Yeah.
it's funny how I listen to it now, and I know it doesn't match up at all to the recording.
Mhm.
My finished recorded product nowadays,
Right.
but it did a lot for us then, and then we started on our second album. We did "Cry for Mercy," and actually Q107 were playing songs from the first album. Honestly, actually, a funny story happened with Q107 is they had a show, and it was called Q107 Rock Wars, and they ran it every night from Monday to Friday at 6 o'clock. And
Yeah.
what they would do is feature 2 new singles of the week. They'd start out with the 2 on the Monday, and then they'd go by phone calls, and people would have to phone in. And the most votes they got for either of the single, that artist went on, or that song went on to the next
To the
night.
next week, and then next.
That's
Well,
right.
it was night by night, right? So we went
Yeah.
from Monday. I can't remember who that first band was. It was all big acts. It may have been like Thin Lizzy or something like that. And anyways, we won, and out goes Thin Lizzy, and so on comes night 2, and I think the band we played against was Streetheart, and
Oh.
we won again, and then the third night was 10cc, and we won again. We're on to Thursday. If you happen to go to Friday night and win all 5 nights, you wind up in the Q107 Rock Wars Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
Okay,
Mhm.
so we did Thursday night against an artist. I can't remember who it was, but we won again. And we're thinking, great, this is 4 out of 5. Just got to win Friday night, and we'll be in the Rock War Hall of Fame.
Mhm.
So they play our song at 6 o'clock on a Friday night, and then they play the next one. And you know who the contender was? I mean, It almost
Out of
wasn't
all.
fair. It was Van Halen playing Pretty Woman, right? Well, needless to say, we we didn't win that one, right? So we
No, no.
didn't get in the Rock Wars Hall of Fame. Damn Van Halen, right?
I believe it was hosted by Joey Vandetta. Does that sound familiar to you?
Yeah, I think it was.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. I remember. I knew quite a few guys from there.
Yeah, because it was just before they had started when I was there in 89, 90, before the homegrown contest.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because Honeymoon Suite won the first one. You may or may not recall, Michael.
I do remember Honeymoon Suite winning. Yeah, and then Tom.
That's right in that time frame that you're speaking of there.
Mhm.
Right. Yeah.
So I mean, look, you can't look down. I mean, you
No.
got knocked off by Van Halen, man. You went up against
Hey!
Van Halen.
Yeah.
That's
yeah.
cool. That's
And it
cool,
was
man.
a Roy Orbison song. But yeah, it's
Is that the song it was? Pretty Woman? Wow.
That's the one it was. Yeah, Pretty Woman.
Pretty Woman.
It's a good sounding recording, though. I mean, it sounds better than our song did. And
Yeah.
I have to say so.
So to back up just a pinch there in regards to your album, what studio were you using out on the east side of Toronto?
Actually, that studio was downtown on Queen Street West, just across the street from the mental hospital. So it was called Cottingham Sound.
Okay. I was just about good. I was going to go, whoa, if you were going to say Sounds Interchange, if you recall that studio. My uncle was in a foot in cold water, so and they came out of the east end of Toronto, so I just thought it might be that studio.
Well, actually, part of that album, to tell you the truth, 2 of the songs on that album were recorded at Sounds Interchange. I forgot to mention that our manager GWR he wanted us to do a single, so we went into Sounds Interchange and recorded 2 songs, Operation Airlift and Tomorrow was the B-side. And,
all right.
Yeah, so that was our single. We made our own record company at the time, Guardian Records, and so we took those 2 songs and we put them on the Honestly album.
Mhm.
Yeah, so there are 2 songs from Sounds Interchange on the Honestly album. Yeah, we remixed them at the Sound Kitchen. I don't know if you know.
It's funny, Michael. I sometimes and Blink's hearing this, and plus there's some cool stuff out of Montreal, of course. But when we did Pat Travers at the Rock Pile back in 2019, because everything was.
Yeah.
But anyway, back in the day, we had all these venues, and we were running into each other in all these aspects of the people that we know. So it's no surprise to hear about. That's why I ask about certain studios, and I like to go a little bit more in depth than the average guy when he's doing his interview.
That's good to know. Yeah,
That's it.
because there has been quite a history of popular studios over the course of time since then.
Well, what I'd like to know, I want to go even more in depth. Now, you said that this studio was across from a mental hospital. Did you have any random patients wandering around the studio or whatever that were lost and thought they couldn't find their room or whatever?
Yeah, definitely.
So that was quite obvious. Well, there we go. If that ain't rock and roll recording, what is it? Right?
It really was. I mean,
You got some guy standing at the door, at the window of the studio, and going, "Place suspicious minds right now!" Right?
Yeah.
There's not more rock and roll than that.
You never knew what to expect each time you opened up that door onto the street. It was a lively area.
Well, I can imagine. At first, when he said mental hospital, I thought he was talking about Much Music, which is on Queen Street East, also, right? So
that's correct.
It
was.
That's what started.
It started.
That's it, eh? So moving on from that or whatever. So that you did some huge success, I guess, with this band or whatever, and the record deal. How did it go? I mean, did everything go sour after a while, or did you get pretty much your money's worth out of it?
Well, we wound up doing Cry for Mercy after that, and City TV covered us a lot when we
Mhm.
played at different places, and then a
Mhm.
main show we did at the concert hall, which is the
Mhm.
Masonic Temple.
Okay.
It was a triple bill. There was a like a punk band opened up, Direct Action or something, and then
Okay.
us, and then Exciter, and
Mhm.
City TV covered that really well,
Mhm.
and then they aired it in on Much Music at the time, I think
Yeah.
it was, and so it would get aired across the country, I guess, on Much,
Yeah. I
and
think it was called the Power Hour or something. Eh? They used to
the
do a lot of
Power
metal
Hour.
stuff. Yeah.
Yeah,
Mm.
yeah, they
Yeah.
couldn't keep it metal all day.
Yeah.
But
That's it.
but it's too bad. And so yeah, the Cry for Mercy thing went pretty good. But yes, things started to deteriorate within
Mhm.
the group,
Yeah.
unfortunately, right?
Mhm. Oh.
And then over the course of time, the singer decided to move to Sweden, which
Mhm.
kind of brought the whole Rapid Tears thing to an end. But I'm
Okay.
talking to him right now.
Yeah.
We're talking about doing something.
Maybe a reunion show or something. That would be great. Eh? Get the old boys back in. Just see if they can still fit in the spandex. Hey,
You know
hey.
what? We wore that spandex stuff. It was
Yeah,
great.
you got everybody did, man. You know what's funny when you look at the what was the on Netflix? They had the Motley Crue movie.
Yeah,
Um, and it
for
was
sure.
funny the part where Tommy Lee's coming out into the kitchen and his sister's going, "Mom, he's wearing my fucking pants again," right? And he's like, "Oh,
I
they
remember
look a
that.
lot better on me," And he's
Yeah,
wearing like these leopard skin freaking. Oh my god, it's hilarious.
I
But
remember that. Yeah,
it's funny how we all look back at all the things that we did. Now, it was funny that, you're talking about you guys were coming out during an era where, yeah, you were saying you were lucky to get played because one of the two things which are hugely popular now and not an issue back then, they were lucky to get airplay was hip hop and metal. Those were the two things that radio just tried to push away from. They were playing a lot more top for more pop, more of this and that. And if they did play rock stuff, they played classic rock and all kinds of things. But it
yeah,
was a time where it was really hard for metal bands and stuff to get their due. I think
that's right.
the first time we really gave the world a taste was on the Grammys when Metallica played. Remember? They were one of the
Yeah,
first people to play on that stage or whatever, and yeah, they played Enter Sandman, and they kicked everybody's ass that night or whatever. It was really nice,
it was about
So,
time to do something like that for the
yeah,
Grammys because
definitely.
it always focused. It kind of always left the hard rock out, even if
Hmm.
some rock artists did win an
Hmm.
award, they wouldn't have them playing.
Yeah,
So that was good
yeah.
to see them on the stage during the show.
That's it. I was telling Junior that one of the look you're talking about playing these arenas and different or high schools or roller wherever it is they played back in the day. Imagine how hard it was for Rush back in the day. You're doing a high school dance. Everybody's wanting to like dance and have a good time and pop song, and
Yep.
Rush is playing stuff like uh, you know.
Yeah.
uh,
Find
some of
my way
their own
around.
John Rutsey stuff or whatever from the first album, like
Working
Working Man
Man.
and stuff. How the fuck can you dance to that at a high school dance? But somehow they kept getting gigs at high schools, and that's where they were planting themselves back in the day. So
That's
yeah,
Well,
true.
they were a Zeppelin tribute as well at that
yeah,
time. Michael might
yeah,
do that too as well.
yeah.
So yeah, that's why. And then they added their own
But even
stuff.
Zeppelin is like, what can you dance? Stairway to Heaven? Yeah,
Yeah.
everybody danced to that slow dance back in the day. But
True.
how the hell can you dance to metal? It's more of like rock and metal has always just been a show that you got to gaze on and get into. It's not about dancing and beats and stuff. It's just about in your face.
Headbanging.
Yeah, you got it. You got it.
Yeah,
Even
that's
if
where
you
they
have
came
no
up
hair.
into the one
Mhm.
part of your body or and the arm thrashing, right?
Yeah.
You can do this and bang your head. And
Yeah. Well,
that's
who
it.
was it who described it best or whatever? The song "Bang Your," I think, Quiet Right, eh?
Yeah,
Was "Bang Your Head," eh?
very good.
Come on, wake the dead.
Yeah,
That's it.
yeah, that's
So
very good.
yeah, that's it. Well, all these cool things or whatever we have on John's cool metal show that we call the Hair Appointment. So we do pay tribute to like good old hair band days or whatever. I always was fascinated, Michael, about going to jam parties, and I swear to God, this is a true scenario. you go to a jam party, and today's musician or whatever, he'll play guitar, and he'll just like have stance or whatever. One time I went to this jam party where all these musicians came in, and there's this one guy still had the perm, long hair, still wearing the spandex pants, came in. We're in a fucking practice room. There's no audience or anything, but the guy was an 80s guitarist for sure, because he was like, all the facial expressions and just fucking wailing around with the guitar. And I'm like, who is this guy, But yeah, it's always great to have the 80s guitarist like pop in on a jam session. It's just so much enjoyment to watch. Yeah, for the people who just sit back and watch the jam party go, so.
Adds a bit of color to it, I
think. I'm telling you, it's hilarious. But you can always tell the 80s guitarist, yeah. Because that was part of the thing back then, right? Is, when metal bands or whatever is all about, like facial expressions and and it's like, really moving around on stage, and it is a lot more enjoyable to watch than to have to watch somebody just stand still on stage the whole show and just a little bit of lights flickering. People want to be entertained nowadays. And especially with concert tickets nowadays, man. Oh shit. It costs a fortune just to go see shows now or whatever. But, people have expectations. They want to be entertained and so on. And I've heard like your show is quite the show to go see.
Yeah.
Hey? Yeah. That's it. Lots of cool stuff going on. Yeah. That's it. So, that's what's great about seeing musicians like you have grown up throughout like the different generations of music up to this point, and you're still kicking ass out there. So tell me a little bit about the MJM, about Michael J. Miller project.
Sure. I can skip a few steps and get right to it.
Yeah.
Actually, after the Rapid Tears thing, I did sign a German record deal with an act called Adrenaline. And we were being managed by Saga's manager. And I guess that's how he wound up getting a German deal. But it was a great sounding album. It was called Dedicated, and it wound up getting distributed across about 35 different countries over in Europe and Asia, but never got a distribution deal in North America, which was pretty a bummer. So we did radio interviews and stuff for in Belgium and Poland and different places. But so problems happened in that group too, and I said, that's it, I'm going solo, where I'm calling the band my name, so that when the singer decides to move to Sweden or turn into a jerk, it's not wrecking my career. And so I said, that's it, I'm going to be singing, I'm going to write my own songs, I'm going to sing them, that way I'm here, right? So actually, I started MJM in 2000. I started working on it. And the first album, Ascension, that was put together by. That's when home recording was starting to become an idea, and I started developing a home studio, which took some time to get together, and at the same time I was working on the material, and eventually I got that first album completed, and then so that came out, and then my producer actually got me into another bigger studio for the next album, a nice big analog studio, and Valley of the Kings was that album. And that went pretty good.
Now, is this like a completely different lineup as well, musician-wise, Michael?
I've had the same lineup for MJM since I started. The same drummer, same bass player, and now I have added one new member, a girl who's my background vocalist. So that way we get the nice harmonies happening.
Definitely.
I agree.
Those high voices over top of mine there. And our voices sound good together, so it's pretty cool. And I do sometimes use a second guitar player. Depends how big, or it depends how things are going at the time, whether we keep them involved or not. So
I see. Okay.
Yeah.
But it's good to know you got some good loyal members who are with it, and they've been sticking with it for a long time and are a part of it as much as you are. That's It's hard and very rare to find, and it's a good thing, you
It's
know.
very hard to do. I will
Now,
go
now
back.
going solo, Michael. Did you find that at that point that you had either a found your sound or you just wanted a new direction? I understand that you have moved on from the other bands,
Hmm.
type thing, but is it just that's where it was? Let's go with this. This is the project. This is the guys. Let's go.
Hmm.
Um, that's a pretty cool question because in all reality, I was still the same writer, right?
Hmm.
But the
Huh?
sound changed due to the voice, right?
Hmm.
So actually, on my first album, I'm not really thrilled with my vocal songs, but after that, I'm
Hmm.
quite proud of my singing. I'm happy with my voice. I'm
Hmm.
happy to be
Hmm.
representing myself with my
Hmm.
voice.
Hmm.
Um, that kind of defined the difference in how my music sounds due to as compared to the other singers that sang on my album, right?
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I kind of really have been. I didn't never really intended on changing my style at all.
Hmm.
I always wanted to remain a metal guitar player, metal band.
Yeah. Did you
Yeah,
find, like you said, so you were trying to hone your voice basically at the
yeah.
beginning of this solo thing? Did you also find that it was taking a little bit away from your musicianship, like playing guitar or whatever? Was there any sort of like discrepancy with that, where like your voice, you were focusing so much on trying to perfect your voice that your guitar kind of took a back seat a bit, or has it always been perfectly balanced throughout the
Well,
thing?
that's a great question. To
Hmm.
tell you the truth, what I did at that
Hmm.
point
Yeah.
is when I realized that this is what I was going to do,
Hmm.
I put a Beatles tribute together.
Oh.
Me and a girl playing keyboards, and we did the
Interesting.
backgrounds, and we worked on it 7 days a week.
That's the
And
best way to do it. Beatles
yeah,
harmonies.
exactly. I tortured my voice. I built it and built it and built it so
Hmm.
that I could go up there and sing 45 Beatles songs in a
Hmm.
few hours, right?
Yeah.
And that was that was really my own training to say, okay, if you're going to be frontman, then go do it that way first. Get the strength in your voice and get used to dealing with the crowd too, as opposed to just being the guitar player on the side where you have a frontman. Now I was taking on the role of frontman and lead guitarist and songwriter, right?
Mhm.
So it was a bit to take over. Now there are some cases where I've got to stick to my rhythm
Mhm.
and play the guitar, and I can't do some of the leads because obviously it's going to be pretty weird trying to sing a vocal line going, right?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
so yeah,
Mhm.
I have to cut it back to my rhythms at times for my vocal
Mhm.
parts, but
Yeah.
I think I've got a pretty good layout for all the materials presented live with
Mhm.
the three piece.
Definitely.
Yeah,
Definitely. Yeah. So yeah, that's some pretty, yeah, man. I'm shocked that I even came up with a question like that, but I don't know. I'm feeling very like musical nostalgic here tonight because yeah, I've look, I ain't no look. I do radio for a reason because I pretty much can play, like, I'm a 5 chord guitar player, can sing a little bit in the shower, and I've attempted to play other instruments such as piano and drums and stuff like that, but I have never been able to perfect, I mean, to do what you do as a musician or any other musician. I've never been able to be at that level. As Junior was talking earlier about any level, I ain't even at the front door yet, Junior, of that, So
yeah,
I do radio because I still have the love and the passion. I understand the musicians and stuff like that because I've seen so many of them,
yeah,
and I understand what it takes to go behind it because I've been around musicians for a long time and I think like one, but I
yeah.
definitely am not one. I am a radio announcer, but
That's cool.
this is where I'm feeling tonight is because yeah, I'm looking back at what was it like when I was, remember, trying to learn how to play guitar and stuff like that. And yes, there's some people who go about it where sure, you can learn music sheets and learn and play exactly like the song or whatever, or you could play from here. And definitely a musician like yourself, when you taught yourself, you were listening and trying to emulate what you were hearing and learning at the same time chords and so on. But after a while, this is where it comes from. and it comes from here and it goes right into the freaking fingertips. And then when
It
you
does.
become one with that guitar, that's where the magic happens. And so it was, I guess, was it the same thing when you were going into the vocals? Like, did it take a little while, kind of like getting those blisters on the fingers, and then once you got it, it was like, yeah, I'm there now. It's pretty much how it
Well,
happened.
yeah, it's a little different
Mhm,
with vocals.
mhm,
You can only push yourself so much
mhm.
in one duration, or you
Yeah,
may blow your voice out, and then it just can't sing
that's the
anymore.
thing. Yeah, it's a scary
Yeah,
situation. It's a like guitar. You can fuck up and come back from it quick or whatever, but vocals or whatever,
yeah,
yeah, it's about timing. Junior himself does vocals. He talks many times about warm-up lessons and stuff
yeah.
like that, and yeah, it's about pacing yourself throughout the show and stuff. Did you find
Most
any difficulty with that at first when you were first starting to sing?
most certainly, most certainly. I mean, there's still you still have to pace yourself now.
Hmm.
You have to be careful what songs you put together,
Hmm.
like side by side,
Hmm.
or what. One of the other things that the background vocalist helps with is I was able to get her to take over some of what were my main lines on the album.
Hmm.
I said to her, I sang that on the album, but I'm finding when I do those notes live now that they're kind of taking my breath away, and it's leaving me a little bit short for that next
Hmm.
Right.
song.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
if you could do those notes and I'll do the ones below,
Hmm.
it'd be my saving grace. Then I can get through the rest of the show. But if
Hmm.
I have to go up and sing those high notes, and I'm noticing repetitively every time I go to them, they're kind of like finishing me. They're like making it hard to finish the rest of the stuff, even though I would. But yeah, so it's a case of pacing or rearranging things so that you can pull it off sounding right.
Yeah. Very similar to
You know,
John Bon Jovi and Richie Sambora, I guess you would
That's
say,
right.
right? Same
Yeah.
very
type
true too.
of
Yeah,
thing. Yeah.
yeah, that's right.
Go ahead, Junior.
I was just going to say you were correct, and I brought them up as one example before. But there's a lot of artists that you'd be surprised. The same deal, Michael, that they have a singer that is making up the difference, especially on an off night, because this is an instrument. So it's not a cheat by any means.
Oh, it's a fragile instrument that we have to take care of, and it's similar to being a weightlifter.
Mhm.
Yes.
If you don't lift those weights, you can't lift them.
That's it.
And
Yeah.
if you don't use your voice often for a lengthy period of time,
Mhm.
you don't have that stamina or that endurance. You're going
That's
to
a
fly
fact.
out, you know?
Yeah, Darby Mills brought that up when we talked to her a few weeks ago.
Great.
Remember that, Bling? Yeah.
Yeah.
She did, eh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Definitely.
that I love the way she sings. I can hear her in my ears right now. Great voice.
Yeah, but it's funny, Michael. But in lines of what we're talking about, she has now come to a realization that she doesn't have this range anymore. So she's going here. So she is not the somewhat queen of scream, but yet she's okay with here.
I understand how that could happen. You know,
Yeah.
it also
It's age.
It happens. That's what I was going to say. It happens with age. It's happening to everybody. I mean, look at the poor greats right now, like Vince Neil. He's taken such a beating on the internet. It's
Yeah.
horrible what the guy has to live with. That people are
Oh,
saying about
we
him,
live in
right?
that generation now. You know, this generation that, oh God, something can happen, and in a matter of 5 minutes, you go on YouTube and they've got all kinds of these freaking joke videos and this, that, and so on. And yeah, people just
Yeah.
get stupid creative.
Yeah, you got to have
Yeah.
a thick skin. You do have to have a thick skin.
Oh,
And
definitely.
And don't get me wrong. It is about the a lot of the age and so on. But if you're not going to be able to put it out there, I guess it's time to kind of hang it up because it's not fair to the fans. Some of the fans don't care, but there is a time that I guess it should be hang them up.
Mhm.
yeah, as far as Vince goes, I just hope he finds a way to sing his lines so he can pull them off. It'll be okay to change some notes here and there, but
Yeah.
let's hope he's got enough time to work on it. Even if he has to go into vocal rehab and sing for
Well,
8
he's been
hours
to
a
every
day.
other freaking rehab, so this one shouldn't be a problem for him.
Well, no, but in fairness, on my rock news just recently, he does have a personal care guy person that's taking care of him with regards to that and whatever. So we can only wish him kind of the best. The same thing, Steven Tyler just fell off the wagon there not long ago as well. I mean, you talk about one of the greatest vocalists in fucking rock and roll. So, yeah.
Yeah, one of my favorites for sure, Steven Tyler.
Yeah.
I knew that at an early age when I was in high school. I heard Steven Tyler's voice. Everyone was saying, you know, Freddie Mercury is the greatest, and I went, he's unbelievable for sure, but listen to Steven Tyler. So more rock.
I'm glad you said that, Michael. You know, in the years, and Bling has agreed on other shows we've talked about, I've never put anybody in the category of the best because there are too many good. Give it a break. There are just too many.
There are. Yeah, that's right. That's right.
You know,
I agree.
One guy who's got some major control over it is Rob Halford, guest on the show here before. Rob, to me, is one of the most phenomenal metal singers out there.
My favorite singer is Robert Halford.
Yeah.
By the way,
is that right?
You know, I do have two interesting stories to tell you about meeting a couple famous people.
Oh, let's share them. Yes, let's get it out.
I did meet Rob Halford in their early days. The first time they came to Toronto, they played the Alma Combo when they had released their Hellbent for Leather album. But what's the name? A Killing Machine was the name of the album. But it had Hellbent for Leather.
Green Man Alicia is on that.
That's the one. Yeah, we saw them at the Alma Combo, and I had a front row table in front of KK's Four Marshalls. They were loud. Couldn't hear a single note Rob was singing, believe it or not. Yeah, I guess he could through PA, but not where I was sitting. It was all KK, right?
It's incredible.
But I went outside after the show, and their tour bus was on Spadina, and there was Rob standing there in his leathers and all these punk pins and stuff, and Nazi hat and whatever, cop hat. Yeah. And he was just the greatest, nice guy. He was like so cool.
Isn't he? I mean, talking. The interview was great. The interview was great with him. I got to interview him, but some of the best moments of that moment was when I was talking to him outside the show, as we spoke earlier.
Yeah.
We got a lot of stuff. And you know what? I found out some really cool things about him. He's just a phenomenal guy, man. Very laid back. And one of my favorite things I found out about him is that, and I think I've mentioned this before. I saw a picture of him on, I think it was Instagram or something, and he had this, because Rob loves cats. He's a big cat lover, man. I swear to God. And one of the funniest things is he had this T-shirt on, and it was this cartoon of a little cat with two pistols in his hand like that, and it says "Pew pew, motherfucker." I said to Rob, I said, "Where did you get that shirt? I want to get one." I'm still waiting. He said he was going to send me one, but you know, I'm still waiting. But a phenomenal person, and I learned so much about him because being a fan of Priest for many years, and I used to be the fan who bought the concert tickets and went there and didn't do the radio and all that stuff. But I would go back to these shows or whatever, and to meet the man later on in your years. And all the stuff that you thought you knew about Judas Priest or about the singer, Rob Halford, it's so incredible when you do these interviews to find out so much more about these people and how normal they really are, and how, you know, how much they bleed as you and I do. And it's not this big, huge thing. It's people doing something they love, you know, and
very true.
And so amazing. Who else did you meet? You said you had met several people.
This story is even a real topper. Back in 1978, okay, I was walking down Yonge Street, and it was freezing. The snow was blowing, it was blizzarding out, and I saw these two fellas walking north. Coming towards me, and they were dressed in furs. They had fur mucklocks and fur long coats and fur hats, right? And I was with another friend and his girlfriend, and they didn't really pay any attention to these two guys, but these two guys came walking towards me, and I stopped dead and I started going, like that as the guy's walking by me, and my friends are looking at me thinking I'm like losing my mind or freaking out. They're laughing at me, right? And these two fellows walk by me, and my friends go, "What's wrong with you? What's going on?" I go, "Do you know who that was?" They're going, "No, it wasn't anybody." I said, "That was Tony Iommi from Black Sabbath." Right? And they're going, "It was not. It was not." I said, "It was. It was." And I looked up, and there Tony turned around, and he's looking at me and going, "Hey, are you Tony Iommi?" He said, "Yes." And so I said to my friends, "I'm going to talk to him." Right? So I did. And this is in the middle of a blizzard, right?
Yeah.
And I said, "Well, what are you doing here?" He said, "Well, we're at Sounds Interchange recording our album." Right? And I talked with him for probably 10 minutes out in that blizzard there. The other guy that was with him was a sound tech or one of his crew, right?
Just showing him around the neighborhood or something to get whatever he was
probably being a bodyguard, taking care of him, and checking
something
him,
like that, yeah.
Right? And so he did say, "Come on by the studio. You can sit." Like I told him I was a musician and I was just putting a band together. And he said, "Well, come to Sounds Interchange and you can sit on our sessions." So about a week later, we did try to do that, but Sounds Interchange wouldn't let us in. Not until we went and recorded ourselves. But anyways, they didn't let us in. But here's the funny thing is about no more than a week later, we got a friend who phoned and he said, "Tony Iommi's at the Gasworks." It was a Saturday night. He goes, "Put on your leather vest and your black crosses and get down here. Your black stuff and your crosses," right? And we did. We put on our leathers and our crosses, and we went down there, and there was Tony sitting in a chair with a crew member, and it was a table for 4, and there were 2 guys at it, and I was with my drummer.
Yeah.
And I walked up to him. He goes, "How you doing?" I go, "You remember me?" He goes, "Oh yeah, we were talking out in the snowstorm." And he goes, "You want to sit down?" I went, "Sure, it's great." And we sat at the table at the Gasworks from before the band came on at 9:00 until the end of the night. I remember at one point the crew guy going, "Tony, you want me to get rid of these guys?" Tony said, "No, man, they're cool." And and at the end of the night, I said, "Tony, you got any advice?" He said, "Well, the number one thing is if you put a band together and you feel it's a good band," he said, "stick together. There's nothing like sticking together and sticking it through. That's where a band comes from." And that's what I tried to do. I'll never forget his words. I wasn't able to do it with Rapid Tears, but you never know. There may be another Rapid Tears album too. So I'm working on stuff right now with the singer.
Oh, excellent.
Yeah.
That sounds cool. So all the Rapid Tears fans out there, you definitely look forward to that one.
It's funny, Michael, that you would bring up that club because every musician in Ontario, would know this, that I was going to ask you your memory of the Gasworks because everybody has one. So that's obviously yours.
I've got to know quite a few memories about that place. That's a good one. But I can tell you one that may not sound that positive.
Yeah.
Rapid Tears played there.
Let's do it. Let's talk about it.
We're the only band known to be shut down during the first song.
No way.
Bill Cornelius pulled the power on the whole joint. Total blackness. No PA, no amps, everything just shut right off.
What the hell happened?
We were too loud.
No
we
way.
Were too heavy.
Wow.
Yeah.
And remember they had Tiny was the bouncer. Remember that great big guy? Your bouncer all those years. Tiny. Yeah. So you got the plug pulled. I don't know if even like say Anvil, anybody. Holy fuck, Michael. What the
Yeah. So he told us to turn down. So we turned down a little bit and then that was it. And we played 3 nights there, and there was a lineup down the street every night. When we were there, so it was pretty cool. I guess we turned down just enough.
But he won't. He probably wouldn't admit that it was you bringing in the line. He'd say, "No, this place is so popular. That line was made by the club itself, or whatever." Right?
Exactly.
Gotta love club owners like that.
Oh yeah.
Seriously.
They're
Toronto and Montreal is just a totally different working environment. If you go down to a place like New York, I'm telling you something, it's a different ball game. There, they don't hire you and pay you. You got to book the gig, and if you haven't sold a certain amount of tickets, you ain't playing that club. They'll cancel you right quick or whatever. But that's the way it works in all these other places. Very similar to playing the bigger venues. Once you get to a level where you're playing like stadiums or larger ticket venues and stuff, they're asking you to pay, make sure you sell enough tickets to cover everything, and pay to play. So
sure, it's either that or you rent the hall and you cover the costs, and
that's it.
Swallow the loss.
Yeah. This is why I've always been against this whole battle of the bands thing. And the reason why it's because you get these guys, they come out and they promote this thing. I've judged a few competitions. I did one in Calgary, Alberta or whatever at the Blind Beggar. We did a battle of the bands there and I judged that thing. The thing that I didn't like about it was that, they would already know who the winner's going to be. They would just go by whoever, brought in a little bit more crowd or whatever. Now you got 5 bands, and one of those bands is probably more kick-ass than the band that wins or whatever, but he goes by whatever brought him in money or whatever. It's kind of like, not cool.
Yeah. I've been to ones like that where the judges decide by how loud the crowd applauds at the end of the show.
Yeah. What the heck?
Well, their applaud half an hour ago wasn't as loud as this applause.
Yeah, but it's why? Because that other band had their little following, they're newer, so they were able to bring in the crowd. And I've always said, an indie band or whatever, it is about where you're playing. Like if you're sitting in the city and you keep playing the same 4 freaking clubs and you're inviting your friends all the time, sooner or later they go, okay, I've seen the show enough times or whatever. I don't think I'm going to go tonight or whatever. So your crowd starts getting smaller. And I always say, if you're going to do any sort of band, you got to expand out. You got to go to places like Rugugugamu or wherever it is you went in Quebec. Why? Because you got to get out there, and that's it. That's the key formula, is getting out to other cities and playing all across Canada, not just in your little tiny area. Because
actually,
that is the way to build your crowd.
Approached me a while ago. We weren't quite ready at the time because we were in the middle of production. But he was doing a show in Montreal, and he wanted us to play. And then he was actually from a band that had a song that got airplay, but he was getting into this management and promotion sort of field, right?
Yes.
And I can't remember what it was called, but you mentioned Battle of the Bands. His thing was kind of that too.
Yeah.
And I said, well, we're not going to play that. Not a battle of the bands. He goes, oh, I understand, you shouldn't, but I'm planning on some bigger shows that you'd be appropriate for. Junior probably remembers in Toronto, Battle of the Bands run by Nova Productions.
Very much
on and on. Yeah. I think those guys, I never met any of them, but I thought it was pretty crooked because they get 20 bands in on the gig. They start at noon, and each band gets to play for 15 minutes, and they'd have 20 bands equipment, and these guys are all mixing up their gear with 20 band stage.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I was going to say, you're bang on, Michael, because back in the time, there was such a such a surplus of musicians, period, because there were more venues as well. So it became almost, I remember joking with Pat Travers, that besides this kind of a idea for a promotion, you could almost promote a chicken fucking a frog show. As long as it sells out, you didn't care.
Yeah, that's true.
Or a caterpillar going after a French fry.
Yeah, well, that's the internet nowadays. I mean, same thing.
I have to go back into our interview a little earlier, and we were talking about the recording, and you were talking about the old reel-to-reel and stuff. You know what? today's technology, when you talk about home studios and stuff, everything is like a click of a button to edit this and edit that and so on and so on. We come from a different generation.
Yeah.
I don't think any millennial, you ever seen a millennial trying to figure out a rotary dial telephone, or even a phone call is like something that we don't even talk about anymore. But
remember a
they
phone
will
number.
never know the glory of what true editing was back in the day. I was trying to touch on it earlier.
Yeah.
When we edited stuff, it wasn't like, okay, cut this clip and cut that. We literally, that terminology cut comes from,
Tape
and we
on
have
the
it in my
floor.
software, Adobe Audition cut or whatever. It cuts out a section. We literally would cut the tape and use Scotch tape to do the edit. Remember that?
Yeah,
Yeah.
And then
yeah.
you play the thing. And know what? I'd love to see a millennial trying to edit his little techno music and all that stuff with one of those. He'd be like, with Scotch tape and freaking scissors going, freaking
Yeah,
out.
trying to find the right millisecond and where to cut that tape with the razor blade, right?
Yeah, you got it. You got it.
Just like
So-
you hear the story of George Martin when he was finished editing Sgt. Pepper's.
Yeah.
The amount of tape on the floor, like the floor was covered with tape.
I wonder how much that would be worth nowadays if you taped it all together. Eh?
Really, eh? It probably wound up in the garbage. But yeah, you could probably sell each one of those little pieces of tape for, it'd be worth millions.
Yep, totally.
Would you? Those little snippets, even if you wouldn't know what song they were from, it'd still be worth millions.
There's got to be a YouTube video out there of this process.
Yeah.
On YouTube or something, and I'm going to try and find it. I'm putting it on Indie Rock Radio's Facebook page or whatever. I definitely got to try and find this Real Junior and put it up there and see how the millennials react to all this.
They won't believe it.
I was going to say, it's funny that you bring up the Beatles there, because it actually, guys, believe it or not, it's this day in history, 1966, that Yellow Submarine was released.
And I was born.
What, today's your birthday?
No, man. In November, but I was born in 66.
Wow.
Yeah,
Really?
it was
This
funny.
day?
This is what's funny. The Montreal subway. You've been to Montreal, of course, a few times. The Montreal metro system opened up 2 weeks before I was born.
Wow.
I'm as old as the damn subway system over here. It's insane.
Well, back to rock and roll history. Speaking of Montreal, John and Yoko, 1969, on this day back then. That was a big deal.
Yeah, definitely. In fact, I have a really good friend who's an old school DJ. Oh, here we go. See, I knew music was
Staring at the darkest of them and trying to get the horn from France. The man with the map said, you gotta go back. You know they didn't even give us a jet rest. You know that they did. You know how hard it can be. The way
things are going,
they're
they're
gonna
gonna
crucify
me.
You go from Paris to the Amsterdam Hilton, trying to get the man in the van. The man with the map said, you gotta come back. You know they didn't need to give us a chance to crash. You know what they need to. You know how hard it can be. The way things are going, they're gonna crucify me.
Oh,
Had
love
to
it.
do it.
Beautiful, man.
Awesome.
Love it. Yeah.
Well, hang on to that guitar, Michael, or something. Why don't we do that then? I wasn't sure if you had a chance to load any of Michael's videos or something.
I
that
know
we can play.
John had some issues with it or
That's
whatever.
okay. Can we get Michael? Would you
We're
mind play a couple songs? We're going to put the screen right on you. Then that way I can shut my camera off and let's focus on you. If that's okay with you, Mike.
That's it. We'll get you to do a couple of tracks off of your latest album. Tell the people about your album.
I could actually do that, but I'd have to warm up my amps and change the angle of my camera.
Ooh, you sure those Marshalls aren't going to like blur out your microphone? Because I know Marshalls, man, especially.
Well,
Stax.
that's the thing.
You
I
have
don't know
a
what you're
Marshall
going to
head?
get on the other end. I'll keep the Marshalls low, but I'm going to be screaming. Well, was my voice blowing out your microphone or your speakers there?
Yeah.
Is it okay?
Let's try it.
You were fine, but you were a little bit distorting. But yeah, let's
Yeah,
go for it.
no. I
Um,
thought I was
let's.
peaking.
Do you have a Marshall head on that Marshall stack? Of course you do.
That's a silly question.
Now,
there's the head there.
there we go. Yeah,
Okay,
definitely.
but over here,
as soon as
I
that
actually
clicks
have
on, you hear the hum.
stereo, Marshall stereo setup, so I can I'll run all my effects in stereo.
Oh,
Nice.
perfect.
Yeah,
Good.
but I'm actually going to be using this because it runs stereo and these cabinets, but and not that head tonight. But
Listen,
sure, I can play a song
yeah,
if you guys
perfect.
can.
Listen, if you want,
Give
I
me a
could
few
I
minutes
could
to
play a
get
music
set up.
video for now. Give you a little time to set up, and then we can come back and have you play something live for us here. That would be great.
Sure.
One more thing about the Marshall stack. Two more questions. Don't you just love it when you turn that Marshall head on and you get that tube hum, right?
Oh yeah.
And you already know, like you're hearing some hums coming from that thing, and the other best part, does it go to 11?
Yeah.
Because you know it's a whole nother level.
Yeah.
Right?
And,
Yes.
see this guitar? Oh no, don't look at it. Don't touch it. Oh, you can't even look at it. Remember?
no, yeah.
Hear that? It rings.
You don't get it. It's a whole nother level.
Don't touch that. Don't touch that.
Yeah,
Don't
and it's a shame,
Yeah,
eh?
Bling, I think that's a great idea, Bling. Why don't you play a video and then we can go back and we'll get so we can have a quick smoke break as well, and then we'll come back and we'll get Michael to play if that's all right with you, Mike.
Definitely. Let's
Sure,
see.
I'm going to warm up my amps and you take me off the
Can we
screen
play?
for a minute, I guess.
John, are you there?
Oh,
All right,
okay.
perfect.
Cool.
Okay, so we'll see you in a couple of minutes there, Mike. And there we go. John, if you're available, if you can run a couple of videos for us. John, you out there? Oh, buddy.
Is the producer there?
Right when we need him.
The producer is sleeping.
Let's see. What can I... John, can you flip a couple of videos on for us? Let's say hi to Johnny Blakemore. Johnny Blakemore, our producer. Huh?
Hi, John.
Hello. Yeah, so the first video is MJM. It's the one that they sent us, the very first song. This is a song basically that put them on our air waves because this is a song called Treasures. And it's a little freaky, a little funky because it's got like aliens in it.
Okay.
Oh, okay, cool.
But listen closely, everyone. Listen closely to his voice.
Mm-hmm.
And we're going to come back.
Excellent. And live music.
Who does he sound like?
There you go. So right after this couple of videos, we're going to play 2 or 3 videos here, and we'll be right back at you. Mike is just warming up the Marshall stack, and we are going to Pufferoonie, which is most radio DJs love, especially when Rush was founded. Remember, that was the great moment because their song was long enough for her to go out and have a smoke. Rush made it to our So, John, you got the helm, baby. Let's hear it. A little bit of videos for you here on Indie Scene with Bling and Junior.
Rock and roll.
La 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 la. La 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 la. La 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 la
La,
la.
la.
Flying saucer ships in the world, light
Oh,
years from where stellar planes. John, I'm sorry I have to remove this. I think literally, John, I love you. You're the best. There was no audio to that. I don't think for some reason something went wrong there, audio wise, and yeah. But we're back, and in the background, I could see somebody is tuning up, Junior.
nice.
Definitely,
Nice if we can
and
get them to play a few. Some of them, I can respect that. They're not really kind of ready, but I like when they are. I
yeah,
mean, there's been lots of great videos out there that people in interviews that, hey, man, let's rock. I mean, Mr.
yeah,
Stern has rockers on there all the time. Let's
yeah.
fucking either unplugged or not. Let's do it.
Yeah, definitely. There's nothing better than live music in the studio. Definitely. Hey, Sandra McCrae, hello to you. And she
Yes,
said
nice. Andrew.
she was right in there. And yeah, sorry, me and Junior are away for our little papiros dochos, puffing on our little cancer sticks. And yeah, there was no sound, and we really are sorry for anybody who's tuned in and didn't hear that. Well, we did the best we can trying to entertain you and keep some music in there. But that basically is a video that John was playing, I think from YouTube, because we were having an issue trying to upload it to StreamYard and stuff like that. So, yeah, you know, but we got something better for you, and we're going to make up for it right now, aren't we, Junior?
I agree.
Yes, definitely. And let's get right to it right here. Mike, baby, welcome back. Your microphone is muted. You got your microphone muted, dude.
I don't know how.
Oh, there we go.
No,
You're
he's
back.
all right. No, he's there. He's there.
He's back.
Check. Are we here?
All right. Yeah, we
Yep.
are here.
Okay.
So
Can you hear with my guitar?
yeah,
Hello. Okay,
perfect.
you're gonna have all sorts of sounds coming in: drums and bass crashing, guitar guys screaming, all in this one-man show.
Oh,
All
this
right.
is going to be amazing.
All right,
The only
let's
thing
see
is
how it
that your
goes
head
here.
is cut off, so you got to probably
Yeah.
stand close to where you're going to get deaf from the Marshall stacks. But
Yeah, I don't
you-
have them Maple Leaf Gardens volume. I've got them bedroom volume.
I'm a little nervous because remember he said he got kicked out of the club for being too loud.
Yeah.
So,
I hope he blows the fucking speaker right off my fucking phone here.
That's it.
I hope I
Let's
got
hope
the
so.
levels just right, and this mic
Yeah.
picks it up. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah.
All right.
So there we go. You see, we've been forgiven by Sandra now because she posted this
Dogs of
wonderful
War.
comment to us. We're sorry about that, Mike. We tried to play one of your videos during the break here, and oh yeah, oh that sounds good. Oh yeah, here we go. All right, folks. Michael J. Miller live here on Indie Scene. Let's let him take it away, viewer.
The dogs of war, they gather in the distance with hands that still hot from hell. They fight and die alone, but some ain't coming home. The dogs of war. The dogs of war. Rotting corpses, begging to be buried. The fog of war above the earth. They fight and die alone, but some ain't coming home. The dogs of war. The dogs of of war. Ow. Oh, yeah. The dogs of war. The dogs of war. Look out. The dogs of war. The dogs of war. The dogs of war. Howdy, everybody.
That was rocking. You know, this is the first time that we had someone play fully electric on the show. Usually everybody picks up just an acoustic guitar and so on. But one of the great things is that he's live in his studio right now. This is his studio. So I'm sure that room is perfectly soundproofed just right. And you're coming in very, very clean. I thought it was going to be totally distorted and stuff. But Junior, man, the sound, I just checked on my phone and everything. And anybody who's listening out there, man, let's give it up. Mike,
Yeah, I like it.
Miller, and Mike, man, if you want to play a couple more, man, we're all hip for it, man. Dogs of War, perfect. Let's you ready for another?
Sure.
Here we go, folks. Michael J. Miller live here on Indie Scene. Junior, I don't know about you, but I'm enjoying this. This is
Yeah,
here we go.
Looking into space, the telescope reveals seven special planets at 40 light years. Answering the question, are we all alone? Celestial bodies, oh yeah, in a habitable zone. Seven super planets we begin to see. Seven super planets for you and me. You know we found the treasure. In this constellation we call Aquarius. In the future, we sustain life, every one of us. Seven super planets we begin to see. Seven super planets for you and me. You know we found a treasure. We found a treasure. Earth to taking time off, timer's running low, poisoning the water, depleting our ozone. Gotta stop the madness, killer cars and coal, destruction of the planet. Looking into space, the telescope reveals savage special planets at 40 light years. Answering the question, are we all alone? Celestial bodies, oh yeah, inhabitable zone. Seven super planets we begin to see. Seven super planets for USB. Seven super planets, you know we found a treasure. We found a treasure. Another one. Voodoo doll. Hell on earth is heaven come. Tortured soul into the dark. Thou is cast, making the dream. Burn the effigy, feel the heat. Voodoo doll. Voodoo doll. Insert the pin. Service of snake. Magical witch. Morn and dawn. Left on the sun. Spirit possession. Down to the sun. Oh, I'm shaking. I'm shaking. Whoa. Voodoo doll. Voodoo doll. Voodoo. Voodoo doll is controlling me. Darkness closing in. Scream and shout, you'll never win. Voodoo doll. Voodoo doll. Voodoo doll. Voodoo doll. I'm on fire. Voodoo-da. 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 Good night.
Ah, man. There we go.
That was fun.
See? I told you. You bring out, you just, when you see all those, you got to get something going on when you got that much pile of guitar. What a beautiful sound to that guitar, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. It's got really nice tonality, man. It's just, yeah, it looked easy for you.
I am sweating. Got to put some effort.
There you go.
Yeah.
Have you ever sweat this much during an interview before?
No, that's a good one. I have.
Yeah, that's for sure. Wow. Only on indie scene, man. Go ahead, Junior.
Well, how many guitars do you actually have? Do you own, Michael?
14. 14.
Do you own the first one that you ever bought?
I wish I did. I don't.
Everybody says that. Isn't that ironic? Go ahead.
Yeah, but I do have I do still own my first good guitar that I ever bought, which was a Gibson SG, and it's a rare one. Yeah, it's like a 1970 Gibson standard, and actually its design is quite different than how they're making them now. My neck is like super sleek, like the way I have my Strat necks design. I go into any music store now and grab an SG, and the necks are a lot fatter.
Sorry to interrupt. Somebody's got audio on in the background. Something's sounds like a phone or something.
Oh, I see what's going on. Yeah, you know what?
Yeah.
I thought that was you guys.
No.
There we are.
It's all good in the hood.
I thought you guys were playing one of my songs. You got the audio.
No.
The video figured out.
No, we only go live on the station on Sunday. So
I'll talk while the intro is playing. But we got some piped in music during the interview. How about that?
Oh, definitely. Okay, going back to the guitars or whatever. Which one's your favorite?
What? I haven't
which one is your favorite? I got a question about the one in the far back there. What looks like a violin.
Okay.
It's shaped like a violin, but it's an acoustic guitar. Is that an Ovation?
That like one you see that looks like a violin is actually a strange instrument that has 10 strings.
No.
And it's called a quattro.
Ooh.
Okay. And it actually its origin is South America.
Okay.
And I could play it, but it's probably out of tune. I'll let you hear what it sounds like.
Yeah, definitely.
So the 10 strings.
You see it, Junior? It's literally like a violin or whatever. One of my favorite shows, I went to go see Dave Matthews one time, and he had a group with him called African Celtic Rhythms. Do you remember them, Junior?
Wow.
I do.
And what was fascinating about that show is they came out with worldly instruments that you've never even heard of before. And the whole group was made up of just all these instruments from around the world combined together, creating African Celtic rhythms. It was just really cool show. And so I love discovering new instruments and stuff like this. I lived in Guatemala for 2 years, so I was down south, and I've never even heard of this thing. Mm-hmm. He's got 10 strings to tune, Junior, so this could take a couple of minutes.
Actually, if you want to give me a minute to tune it, maybe it would be better if I do, and then I'll play it.
Yeah, there we go.
Okay, so excuse me for a minute.
No problem. We're fine.
Thank you.
Junior, while he's tuning the guitar and everything, what we can do is talk about this upcoming concert announcement coming in Ontario. You were talking to me earlier about today. Big news, folks.
No, I can't release it yet. I just got the word.
No.
So I'm going to have everybody on the edge of their pants or seat or whatever you want to call it. You know how that works, right?
Okay. The only thing that we will be able to give out is, let's just say that this band.
No, don't get me in trouble. Don't get me in trouble.
I'm not getting you in trouble. This band would fall into the category of the hair appointment. that's all we're going to say about that. But it's a
right,
big
yeah.
concert coming up, and get ready, folks. This is going to be one fun freaking summer. Everybody's coming back out. Eh? It's
Well,
all kinds
it's
of amazing
nice,
bands.
Bling, especially with this other new monkey, whatever the heck it is or whatever. But yeah, it's starting to come around. I mentioned last time, but so I'll plug again. Gilby Clark is coming, and this weekend, Anvil and special guest with them is some friends of mine on the rock ball called Madam. So Jukebox Heroes are playing in Barrie. That's Steve Major. Even I'm sure Michael would know him. He was with Phil Naro. He's a Juno Award winner, is what I'm saying. They do the obvious there, by the way. I think one of the best, better, or at least tributes to Foreigner. Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, you know, it'd be nice if you can do one of two. Well, hopefully to get the two things done, but it would be nice to at least get one of them. Are you going to be going to the Anvil show this weekend or what? No. Okay, because it would be nice if you get okay, here's my request. To get Lips to do an interview, but, okay, not curse during the interview.
Oh, well,
So
good luck.
I don't know if that's possible. So if we're not able to achieve that, then we'll just put that one on the back burner. But I do
Yeah, and
know
that's
that,
no offense to
no,
Steve
no.
or Steve or Ed or Lips, however you know him. It's no
Yeah.
offense to him, but anyway, no, he's not.
Yeah.
He's far from the first. I can recall Lemmy being interviewed, and a lot of F bombs, but either way. So
yeah, well, you know, it's not Lips' fault. He's Canadian, right? So that's it.
That's
it's
right.
part of the heritage. We cuss a lot up here in Canada, folks. We really do. Like
Well,
F is part of our vocabulary. You should hear my brother talk. Like my brother,
is
when
that
you
right? Yeah,
with him, and hear this
yeah,
man talk, he'll go on about Donald Trump and the you know, like the truck barricades,
yes,
the whole night. But every third or fourth word is fuck.
yeah,
He drops the F bomb constantly, and he says, "Hey, I'm Canadian. This is part of my
yeah,
theater." You know, so
yeah. You
definitely.
got it.
Yeah,
So
I think he's
As
almost
Bling
pulled up
might
there.
say to the audio version that's playing on Sunday, we just have our guest Michael warming up. That's what you're hearing in the background. So because he's going to play some more songs, so they know what that sound is when they hear it on Sunday, right?
Yeah, definitely. And John just popped in. John, sorry
Just
about
to
that.
let you know, Junior, we have to make mention about Gilby Clark. Gilby Clark is playing at the Brass Monkey.
Is what? Sorry.
Playing at the Brass Monkey.
The Brass
In
Monkey.
Ottawa, at the Brass Monkey. Gilby
Oh yes,
Clark.
yeah.
Yeah.
And who's opening up?
You know who's backing him up on that show?
Yes, I do. Yeah.
None other than Playhouse.
There we go. Yeah, and Playhouse is doing really well with the album. We played you the video earlier on the show. Of course, the Storm, and the Storm has literally been taking the airwaves, all the radio stations, local and stuff. They've been getting some heavy airplay with this track or whatever. Amazing track. Great production. Kevin Jardin is the producer of this, and Kevin. Me and John were discussing this. We want to get Kevin. Kevin, if you're watching out there, buddy, we want you on the show. We want you on the show. I want you on the show, MGM Grand. We want you on the show because definitely he's got a great musical past. He's produced a lot of heavy artists. John, just give us a couple of tastes of who Kevin has produced over the past few years since he started doing studio stuff. Hey?
Well, we definitely want him on the show,
yeah. Hey, John? I don't know if you can hear because he's doing a little tuning.
This is what it's like when I sound check at the clubs and all that when I'm at Rockpile. But you got to have a sound check. It's got to be done.
Yeah, that's it. I just muted him for a moment until he comes back into the scene here. John, so give us just a small list of who Kevin Jardin has worked with. John's been doing some research on him. I never even knew Kevin produced some of these cool people. Run DMC is one of them.
Yep, Run DMC, definitely a big one. As we all know that he loved working with them, and he will continue to work with them. He's done some stuff with the Box.
Mm-hmm. The box.
Fast Jordan,
Yeah.
Luba.
Mm-hmm.
He's really taking the Montreal
Yeah, definitely
Did
an
you say
amazing up and
Luba?
coming producer. Yeah.
Luba.
Where
Yeah.
the hell is she? Where's she been? She's out of Montreal. Where's she
Yeah.
been?
Oh,
She is
she's
in
been around for.
Montreal.
Yeah. John's very good friends with Luba,
Yeah,
by the way. They
with
went to.
with
Did you go to school together or something?
yeah, we went. I went to the same school. We hung out. I've met her
Yeah.
more than once.
Yeah. Okay. Well, where is she? Where is she? We want her back.
Yeah.
Right now, Luba is going through a hard time. She
Yeah.
has COVID, and she's had COVID for the past 15 days. So
Oh
Oh,
my.
okay.
she's not able to kick it.
Yeah, that's it. And one of our DJs has been having a tough time also. If you notice that our show on Saturday nights, Bob Nag hasn't been on air for a couple of days because he of course caught COVID. Also, one of our staff members, and what a shame. But Bob's kicking ass. He's getting through it, and everything is good. And he's still tuning. Are you ready, buddy?
Sure, I tuned her up.
Uh,
Don't really know what I'm going to play on this thing. I think I'm going to
Are you
angle
going to
my.
sing in are you going to sing in Spanish, my friend?
Well, actually, there's a song on our Valley of the Kings album that uses this instrument called the cuatro.
Can you play that Simon and Garfunkel song? What is it? Da, 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 da. Hey.
Mrs. Brown, you both are lovely. No, it's Herman's. Okay.
What is it? I you know what? When I was living in Guatemala, we used to live right next door to this school, and the girlfriend would run off to work at the UN, and I would be at the house, and all I'd hear was these kids playing on the recorders. They do the music thing, and cement houses and everything just shot right through. So that's the song they were playing all the time. I think it's called da 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 da. I'd rather be a digger than a do. Yes, I would. If I could, I surely would. You know what song I'm talking about?
Kind of.
Simon and Garfunkel. I'll have to find. I think it's called something like the. Anyways, originally the song is from Peru.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was a song from Peru, and they did an English version of it. Him and Garfunkel, the guy with all the hair, which is now no longer has hair. One of those guys who fell by the wayside, like me and John. John, do that head banging thing one more time for us before. There we go. There we go. As we sit here with two guys who are a little bit older than us and still have all the freaking hair.
Long hair.
Me and John decide when we're going to show up on the show one day, John, we're getting fucking wigs. Okay? We're getting wigs and we're going to show up looking like Spinal Tap. It's going to be great.
Okay, so with that, Michael, before we get you to play, I have, so two things. Number one, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, you just had a anniversary recently. Is that true?
Anniversary with my wife? Yes. We did.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yes.
Hang on. The 5th.
It was mentioned then.
Okay. Yeah. Not bad for my research, right?
That's very nice. Yeah.
There we go.
Second is, I see that you're playing a 12-string. Now, you'd be very well aware of
the 10-string. It's a 10-string.
The Canadian School of Performing Arts in Toronto.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, real quickly, in this learning process, before we get you to play a song, were you taught by schooling? Because you can play 12-string as well. So it's quite a talent. That's why I'm asking this question right now.
Well, to tell you the truth, this instrument is its own story because its tuning is odd to a standard guitar. It does have double strings for guitar. It's a 10-string, by the way, as opposed to 12. But it's a quattro, and its tuning is oddball, meaning when you make a normal guitar chord on it, it sounds like a minor chord is already major. So when you go to add what would have been a fourth, it's actually just the intervals are all messed up because of the tuning. So that's the deal with this. But as far as my education goes, actually, I did spend quite a bit of time after Rapid Tears building my education, actually getting my teacher's license degree, right, as a music teacher.
All right.
Okay.
Yeah, and so it took a lot of studying classical guitar too. So I read classical guitar music as well. You know.
Aha, you see? Aha.
Ye back in the courts. The jester strolled in.
The other point of
Yeah.
the reason why, Michael, I bring it up in the question, I was actually introduced more so from a friend that was at the Royal Conservatory of Music in Toronto. You're very familiar with, and he was actually playing at the time. I did not recognize these songs. Follow me here. They were Iron Maiden songs. Then to know more about classical and the introduction of it and it being part of heavy rock, obviously it's a bit of influence in what you're playing, sir.
Yes, it's good that you point out to the audience that they do tie together, classical music and metal.
That's my job.
Good job. And
well, look, a guy like
um,
Halford we were talking about earlier has classical operatic.
Oh,
training.
for sure. He worked in an opera. I mean, he sang opera.
But go ahead, Michael. Yeah, go ahead.
Yes, you'll find that the best, as we already know, the best guitarists, most of the best guitarists that we know are metal guitarists because that's where you really, really learn how to express and do crazy.
Sure, yeah.
You'll look at like Yngwie Malmsteen, who started on violin and piano and studied reading since he was 4 or something like that.
Right, yeah. Yes.
Yeah. So it's the same thing. And Randy Rhoads being very classically trained. It blends together in your knowledge of how you know notes go together. You just are familiar with the proper combinations of sounds. So with the Iron Maiden thing, I have heard that song. I don't know the name of it. But yeah, there's definitely a classical guitar intro on that song. Metallica do it too. They have classical guitar intros, and then Unforgiven. Yeah, what is it?
Yeah.
I can't remember. I don't even know. Something like that, right?
Right.
I don't want to play it because I don't know how it goes. But anyways.
Well, I asked that, Michael, because it is so influential. Here's an example of, I'm sure you're familiar and were with Phil Narrow, correct?
Yeah.
Before he passed. But I did the tribute. Of course, I had his close friend Steve Major on, who was won Junos. So my question to Steve at the time was his first song he ever learned on guitar. Ironically speaking, it's 12-string, and it was the Rain Song by Led Zeppelin. So no surprise in regards to what we're talking about.
That is no easy first song to learn.
No, but.
That is like a hard song for anybody who plays guitar to play.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But boy, do I respect it.
What was that?
I said, boy, but do I respect it? I mean, I'm sure you've seen in their time, not to take away from you and your band, sir, but in their time before, of course, Phil passed, to hear Ozone Baby, they were top-notch, bang on in the job that they did at the time, through their time, and I'm sure you've heard them.
Yep.
Yeah. That's it. Definitely. Okay, so let's get back to the instrument here. We tuned up the 10-string. I'm curious. What do you got planned to play here? Show us, educate us.
Frankly, I don't have anything planned to play. I haven't played it. I'm gonna just wing it. I haven't played it in years.
I love it. You see, that's the type of teaching I like.
How bad I can make myself sound in front of the world. Okay,
we appreciate it, Michael, that you'll do it off the cuff there. That's great. Let's hear anything.
You're gonna notice. Bit of rock and roll on there too.
That is interesting or whatever. It
Freaky
reminds me
sounding
of something
instrument.
Scorpions would use or something. You know what I mean? It sounds like
Yeah.
something the Scorpions would use in their style of music. But impressive. Is this instrument used in a mariachi band? Shall we say? Because they're always use multiple different size guitars
Yeah,
and stuff like
yeah.
that.
I bet it could be. Bet it would be.
Yeah.
It has, to me, the way it's tuned, it has a very Egyptian sound to it.
Mhm.
Yes.
Yeah, that too.
It might have been the weird chords, but I when I play this thing, I always tend to go to that flavor of scale
Mhm.
and play it more Egyptian than Brazilian. Because,
Oh, interesting.
yeah, it is interesting.
Yeah.
I've learned a number of Brazilian pieces on my classical guitar, and
Mhm.
they're quite happy. They remind me of a Mexican with a big mustache and sombrero, who
Yeah.
drank too much tequila, lying, passing out in the sun. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Should I say yes?
Cerveza.
Yes to
Having
yours.
some cerveza. See.
yeah.
Yeah,
Oh boy.
definitely.
Yeah. This Quattro is quite a story in itself. It's funny because I worked in a music store and I walked in and one of the other teachers was playing this thing.
Mhm.
And I said,
Wait now, did you work at Steve's?
No, I worked at Legend Music in Pickering,
Okay.
and now I work with Long McQuaid as a teacher.
Oh, yeah,
no.
yeah.
I've been with him for 10 years.
Well, good.
Yeah.
We need
No,
to
I
talk
asked
later.
that because I thought that maybe I met you there at one time. Enzo works at one of them too. I think you know Enzo.
I've heard the name for sure, Enzo, definitely. Yeah.
Good,
Anyway, go
Mike.
ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, Mike,
Yeah.
you're a good connection to have. You just mentioned something because we've been wanting big time to get Long and McQuaid on as a sponsor over here on the station because of course we reach right across Canada, and I know that in every freaking city they're spending money on advertising when we can make their life so much easier and just give them one simple advertising campaign that reaches right across Canada,
Well,
and
it's
it's
kind of
amazing
funny
story.
because I told you about the promoter from Montreal
Yeah,
that was running some Battle of Bands things plus some bigger shows.
yeah,
And on his site, he had the promoted by Long McQuaid thing on it.
yeah. That's
He
it.
did.
Excellent,
There you
excellent.
go. So
Yeah.
it can happen. I'm not sure what channels to put it through.
Networking is the
I
best
can-
thing, man.
I can look into it for you.
Oh, I
Okay.
appreciate that.
Sure.
So excellent. Yeah, you know what? I found a lot of amazing bands in music stores, Junior. For example, you've seen the video from Vinyl Hero. They just redid the Sledgehammer song or whatever from Peter Gabriel.
Oh yes, yeah, great
Yeah.
tune.
Yeah, I heard about
That
that.
band, Vinyl. I'll play that for you. You can check that out after. Really beautiful version of it. I found them. They were working for he was working for Ital Melody. And I came in, I says, "Do you guys know any bands that come through here, whatever, that'd be interested in coming on my radio show? I'm looking for some indie bands and stuff." And he goes, "Oh, in fact, I have my own CD here," which he was selling on the counter and stuff like that. So
Oh.
it was cool that the
Right.
boss let him do so.
Yeah.
But he's just, Ray's just an amazing guitarist himself or whatever. And now I think he works for Moog Audio or something like that in Montreal. And he also he basically does backline. He sets all the shows up and everything like that. So he's constantly rocking with that. And they just recently got signed to a label in California. So that's cool stuff. And this is the same band, by the way. We had the bassist and guitarist of Steve Miller Band on not long ago.
Yeah,
Great.
yeah.
And he had saw that video on the thing, and he sent me a message after and says, "Holy shit!" He says, "Who was that band, man? That version was like spectacular. The way they put, and they literally had to go through Peter Gabriel's whole management company and everything, and it had to be approved. And the words they got back from Peter Gabriel was like quite interesting. He was very much in love with the way they had showed tribute to it. Swinged it up with a totally different style, but really kick ass. Great. We'll play that video for you after. So you're a music teacher. Wow, that's
I do
fascinating.
that as well, yeah.
Yeah. So tell me something. What is your favorite instrument to play? besides guitar. That yeah. The quattro. The quattro's cool, but I'm saying, is there any other instruments besides the quattro that you like really love playing? Besides something that you're fascinated with, like
Well,
Suzuki or like
yeah, I don't
George
agree.
Harrison had that. What was that? What they call
Guitar.
that thing?
It's guitar.
Huh?
Sitar, yes.
Guitar. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't have one of those either. I have played a bouzouki one time.
Yeah.
It was pretty funny. Someone else at a show was going to be coming on for a little spell during our break and playing their what you call bouzouki, and they wanted to know how they could amplify it, right?
Oh man.
Yeah, and he goes, "What are you running your guitar through? This has an electric plug-in too." And so he had an electric bouzouki. Okay, so this is very funny because when I plugged him in and then I hit the distortion, right?
Yeah.
And it was an older fellow, right? And he had never heard a distorted guitar in his life, I don't think.
Yeah.
He wanted to hear some standard bouzouki Greek music, right?
Yeah.
And this thing turned on and started going, woo, and you hit a note, burn, and he was like freaking out with this thing. I'm still laughing every time I think about it. I laugh. And I had to hit the button and turn it off before he had a heart attack, right?
Oh, God.
A bouzouki through a Black Sabbath sound, right?
Oh, my God. So I can imagine trying to shred with the bouzouki also, eh?
That's a different thought.
Hey, you got to do, after a moment like that, Mike, all you got to do is you got to do the Michael J. Fox thing from Remember Back to the Future when he looked at, oh, sorry, you might not be ready for that yet. Remember when he played with Chuck Berry back in the past or whatever, and he was shredding on the stage? And, sorry, you might not be ready for that yet. So it would have been a good comeback from that one. That's cool. That's cool. So yeah, favorite. Okay, so out of all your guitars, what's your favorite one?
Well, as I mentioned, 3 of them are pretty well the same. I have 4. I have two more at our rehearsal.
You're only allowed to choose one, Mike. Only one.
I would have to say this one.
Okay. And what makes this guitar so special?
Well, it was my first hand-built guitar, and I've had all the other ones designed after it, and they all have different qualities, but I just keep migrating to this one because it seems to be the one that is so beautiful. But actually, I've got them all designed so they feel the same in my hand. They're supposed to all do the same thing, but they do still have their own personalities, each of these guitars. They really do.
I agree.
Yeah, and I've got doubles for each guitar. Like this one is tuned down in standard tuning, and I have a double for it in case I break a string. And then that silver one you see here is tuned down and drop C sharp, right?
Yeah.
And they're the same, but and I have a double for each one at the rehearsal studio. But they each have their own tonal qualities because they came from such special wood. They actually have unique properties to me. I mean, I could stand on stage and play and change guitars, and people probably wouldn't know why I have a different guitar. But to me, I can feel a little bit and hear a little bit of difference with each one.
That's actually a good point. So how many, when you're playing, how many do you have on your rack side stage? When I did Paul Gilbert, he usually keeps about 8 and 10, depending on. How many do you keep?
4. I have 3, 1 on me and 3 on the rack. And
all right.
I use 2 different tunings on stage, and I have a spare for either guitar.
Do you have a guitar?
Do you do your own tuning, Michael?
Yes, I do right now. I don't trust anybody.
We had the same question almost. I was like,
oh, sorry.
Do you have a guitar tech? Do you have a guitar tech? And you're like, do you do your own tuning? Yeah. So you answered.
No, I don't use a guitar tech right now. No. Yeah. I maybe use some guys to help slug my gear and stuff. But as far as my instruments go, I mean, a good guitar tech costs good money, so you have to have the budget for.
Don't touch my baby. That's it. Hey, it's like a Harley Davidson. Don't even think about sitting on it. Hey,
Isn't that
That's
true?
it.
Don't even
And
touch the
taking a
throttle.
picture, acting like you own a Harley. Yeah, that's it. This is my baby. I worked hard for it. That's it. Guitars, and you know what? Yes, every guitar does have a personality. Let's
Yeah,
go through the history. You got Eddie Van Halen's Frankenstein. You
right.
got Stevie Ray Vaughan's guitar. That guitar was beat up, but what a freaking sound it had. Same thing, Fender Strat. And then you had let's see what else. Well, the best one I love is Willie Nelson's classical guitar. Has that big extra fucking hole in the side from being worn out from his picking and stuff like that. You ever notice
That's
that?
what
He's
he's
got this
showing you
little.
there. Look at how worn
Yeah.
that is.
Let's
Wow.
see. Sorry.
Yeah, I
Sorry,
was
go ahead.
pointing out like my
Yeah.
neck.
Yeah.
You see the fretboard?
Yeah. It's
I've
become
been
part of
playing
you.
it. It's
Yeah.
well worn,
Yeah.
and
Definitely.
then you get up even higher, and it's all
Oh
worn
yeah.
out down
See,
here
that's
too.
where the shred happens. That's where the shred happens right there.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's it. I remember seeing a picture in Cream magazine one time of Rick Emmett, and he was like this with the guitar all the way down to the bottom of the neck, and the caption on it said "Need more threats."
Ah, yeah,
Right?
that's
Pretty
for
much.
sure.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
man.
yeah. I once had a Washburn guitar that
Mhm.
had 27 frets.
Okay.
Right here, they had
Yeah.
the fretboard go across in a triangle and
Yeah.
a big cutout, big cutaway here.
Yeah.
And yeah, 27 frets. So it had an octave plus, I mean, 2 octaves plus another 3 or 4 frets, right?
Again, as we were saying earlier, a whole nother level.
Haha. Yes, it was. That's going past 11 for sure.
Yeah, that's it. Definitely. Well,
That's
every
all. That's
guitarist.
almost a very good segue to my next question. So, biggest audience that you ever performed in front of, Michael?
It's probably about 10,000. 10,000. And that was
All right.
at Molson Park. But believe it or not, before they changed it, there used to be Molson's Park Ferry before they changed things around, and they used to have a festival called Summerfest.
Okay.
And
Yeah,
it was-
I'm 30 minutes from the former Molson Park, so I know it well.
Okay, good. Well, yeah, they used to have a thing called Summerfest before they
Yeah.
changed it.
Yeah.
And Summerfest, people could actually roll their tents and their campers right into that area where the concert was going to be. And
Yes.
so you had basically a huge field with concert goers, campers,
That's right.
and trailer. That's right, everything. And it's funny
Best.
because we were scheduled as I think the last band of the night, and we came on after another band, and there wasn't much of an audience, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we hit our first chord, and we started playing, and the next thing you know, the field was full of people as far back as we could see.
No.
What a lovely feeling in there. What a memory. Look at that.
It happened.
Yes.
And that was before our first album.
Okay.
That's funny. We sounded
Yeah,
heavy
because
back then,
as
too.
you recall, the Molson X plant was just up the street there as well, right there.
Yeah. Yeah, no, for sure. Good old Molson.
Yeah.
What is
Oh,
Molson?
we have
Molson
the
Plant?
original Molson plant here in Montreal, and I've been in there. I did a couple of Christmas. They still have the old copper still in
Really?
the center. It's become a museum section or whatever. They got the old copper steel that they would make the beer in and everything back in the day inside that building. Still by the St. Lawrence Seaway and stuff, and just it's part of our like when you look. If you
I
see
know
that
it.
building on a picture or something, you know that's Montreal. It's like
Oh,
part of
wow.
our heritage. You know what I mean? The
I'll
old
have to go to the
breweries.
Molson Museum next time
Yeah.
I get to Montreal.
Oh yeah, definitely. It's and you know what's funny? Right next door to that plant, okay, on Notre Dame, they have a practice place next door called Cité de Image. Okay. And inside there, back in the day, I was working with a group called Thunder Rider and the Bruce Corian Band, who was the one of the guitarists for one of the bands we've had on during the interview for Playhouse or whatever, the backup band. Daryl Daryl. Anyways, name's kicking me. Anyways, I'm going too far back. ADHD. Fucking hate it. But so, anyways, they have this practice place right next door in Void. A lot of a lot of different bands and stuff have played inside there, and it was really cool. It was kind of like a locker space, like a storage space, but everybody had their own practice rooms throughout the place, and we met so many amazing musicians who till to this day or whatever are kicking the stage. And they had everything from indie bands to bands that were using that as a private practice place where no one would know. And it was heavy security. It was just amazing. Great fun memory back in the day. But right next door to Molson, which was really cool.
Is that right?
Yeah, and then right across the street from Molson is our television district. So everything that's television and radio and all that stuff is right across the street from all that. So yeah, so beer, Molson beer, music, and all that shit goes together.
Yeah,
that's perfect proof.
It all sounds like entertainment to me.
Yeah, you got it. And of course, Molson Muscle.
He brought up the exhibition there, the C&E. That's there's more memories there than we can shake a stick up, Michael?
Oh, I can imagine.
Oh my golly, there sure is. You know the first artist I saw there?
Mm-hmm.
I'll have to admit it. I saw him by peeping through a hole in the fence because I was only 12. Bobby Sherman.
No
way.
Remember Bobby Sherman?
Yes.
Actually, I do. Yes.
Yeah,
I was there for the Alice Cooper riot as well, Michael.
Oh, really?
Well,
that was a big deal.
You heard about the riot for Supertramp in Montreal, eh? Many years. I think that was in the 70s or something, 73 or 76 or something like that. They had at Jarry Park in Montreal. There was like a big. What happened was they broke the fence down and people got crushed and stuff. It wasn't really a riot. It was more of like a little bit of a tragedy. Some people got hurt, killed. So yeah, Supertramp.
Didn't Guns N' Roses pull something off in Montreal too, like that?
Oh, GNR.
The show that.
So I've never forgiven his shit. Like Yoko Ono, I've never forgiven that bitch. I ain't forgiven Guns N' Roses. They literally came on stage for 15 minutes. Axl, I hate musicians like that who have such an attitude. Somebody doing something they don't like in the audience or something. So fuck you. I'm not playing anymore. And people pay good money for this ticket, and they literally walk off stage and don't do the show.
Cool.
Bands like that, I won't fucking support them. I don't give a shit. You do it once, that's it. It's not about
the unfortunate thing, though, in the time, Bling, is all these guys were friggin'. When you are that level, even the level that I would say at Q107 or whatever, when you're around stars, the amount of free shit is what is the problem. I mean, cocaine was so fucking popular through that time and so on, and we know all the rock and roll stories. But imagine this. What about the ones that we don't know?
Oh my God, that's for sure. I bet there's a lot of them. You just think about it.
I mean, it becomes that. I mean, like I say, even the level that, when you mentioned about hanging with who you have in your time as well, Bling, and yourself, Michael. But yeah, when that free shit is around, and we're talking everything from girls to you name it. I mean, it's easy to fall into that trap. So easy. And that's what ends up happening. And then you become that dick. Because you're not the personality that you were.
Yeah, definitely. I you know what? It was funny throughout my radio career when I started and everything, I was married. So it was funny. I'd go out and I'd be doing lots of hours at the station, still doing the day job, just doing it and loving it. And so I was traveling all over the place, Quebec City, this and that, going to doing gigs up in up north near Ottawa and stuff, and just traveling everywhere, doing gigs and doing interviews. But it was funny. The band would always ask me after, "Hey man, we're going back to the hotel. If you want to come and hang out and party and stuff."
Exactly.
Like, oh, sorry, I got to get home to my wife. So that's what always went on with me or whatever. I never really went backstage, but it probably would have, I've always said like. Me and Junior have been around the circles and stuff, and I was offered something really big by somebody, and the problem I'm known in the music industry, but I'm not in the VIP lounge. And probably if I had gone to those parties, I might have been in the VIP lounge by now, but I'm humble. I like it as is or whatever. You know what? I think everybody is just human. There is no such thing as this one is more amazing than the other. I think just the glory of music and musicians such as yourself and any other musician who plays, whether or not they've been around for 20, 30, 40 years or whatever, everybody, as long as there's that unique passion for music and people do it because they love it and not because they're pissed off about somebody in the fucking audience or whatever doing something they don't like and squandering off. So, you know what? I'll support that person 100% all the way through or whatever, even if their music is not the greatest or if it is great, whatever. Everybody's got a personal taste. I might not like something. Somebody else might like it more than I do. But you know what? It's called art. It's called creativity. And it's music. It soothes our soul. It's beautiful. And I am so touched by people like you who create music and have that gift of being able to go past my 5 chords and play these instruments and create music. I tried to write a song one time, had the music right in front, couldn't fucking do it. I thought I was going to be a star. I'm like, yeah, I can write this song, no problem. Blah, blah. I think up lyrics all the time. Got in front of it and I just got writer's cramp. It was a disaster. So I literally live through people like yourself and many other musicians. And I'll you know what? I think Gordon Downey said it the best. I ain't no movie star, but I can get behind anything. Definitely.
That's pretty cool.
The truth.
A good line.
Yeah. Yeah. Gordon was the man.
Let's do a segue. Speaking of that, on this before we finish up tonight. It's great that you reached out, Michael, and whatnot. So, how can the fans that are listening to us and that follow you in regards to is it your Facebook page, or how can they get a hold of you and your music and where you might be playing coming up?
Yeah.
Well, they can go to our website, which is mjm.global.
Okay.
Pretty easy to remember.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't have to say www.
No. You're too hip for that anymore.
There, I spared y'all and then did it after.
That's it.
Okay. YouTube, Michael J. Miller Band. That's us.
Yep.
Okay. Great page. Facebook, MJM Rocks. Instagram, MJM Rocks. Twitter, MJM Rocks.
Mm-hmm. So basically, all your social media, do a search under MJM Rocks. You'll definitely get there. Where's your album? What's the name of your recent album, and where is it available? Also,
MJM 4.
Okay,
here, I'll grab one for you.
Oh, look! He's getting like Frank Zappa on us, like MJM 1, MJM 2, MJM 4. Okay, because we wanted to skip the 3.
MJM 4.
There we go.
And it's available on all the streaming sites. It's available for download on our website or on at CD Baby, right?
Or you could still, there you go. CDs are still kicking.
Yeah.
You ever thought about releasing it on vinyl too? Because I know it's becoming quite hip now.
Well, I know it's coming back, and that's a good thing. The whole thing is I'm finding that people are so inclined to listening to everything for free, they don't want to buy anything. Because
yeah, there you go.
You can hear it all for free on YouTube anyway. Right?
Is that the CD that you were holding up that has Rapid Tears on it, Michael?
No. Oh, no. That MJM 4, that's my newest MJM album.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah, the 4 is actually in the forehead. Right there. Sorry,
nice.
No problem.
Excellent. No, that's okay.
No, we can see it.
Okay, so any shows coming up that you can share?
Well, we've got one booked at the Atria. We're just kind of, after the COVID thing, we're getting ourselves ready to come out again, right?
Yeah.
So we booked it at the Atria. I want to set one up at the Rock Pile real soon. I'm having a bit of trouble getting a hold of who the actual guy that's booking things there right now. But I want to set something up there for sure with a couple other bands.
Yeah.
And we'll see what else. You know, for a band like us, we can't really go into a lot of these little chicken wing gigs and move the chairs away from the window and the tables and set up beside the fireplace. You have to have a stage with lights and a house PA. Right?
Okay.
Well, that's what it's become there as well. Sorry, Bling. In regards to but lowering cost and so on, it's hard to because of the cost factor of what you have to bring to the table. When my boys and Eyes of Alice just played the rock pile, of course Robbie Cooper and those guys. They have all those effects and so on and so forth. So it's got to be an affordability thing as well.
I'm sorry, the signal cut out. Which has got to be a what thing?
That's okay. I'm saying as far as the band goes, it's got to be an affordability thing for sure. It's got to be worth your while. You can't lower your price that much.
No. Well, the main thing we're concerned about is a real stage with a PA and lights.
Size,
yeah.
You got to have that.
Yeah, definitely.
You remember, like back, example, in the 80s, there was tons of clubs up and down Yonge Street.
Yeah.
More than we could make it to in one night, that's for sure. And they all had a stage. They all had big PAs. And they all had lights, right?
Yeah.
They're all gone.
Yep. I know a lot of they're all Irish pub style now. We'll stick you in the corner, and then when you're not there after the show, it becomes tables again for their restaurant. Yeah,
right. Or we'll throw darts there on TV.
Yeah, that's it. A little small.
I think the only one that's left off the top of my head from the day is Larry's Hideaway.
Now, are you guys seeing this?
Yeah, it's gone too. Yeah.
Are you guys seeing this?
I'm seeing it.
Sandra McCrae. I'd rather be a hammer than a nail.
What is she referring to?
I don't know. We would have to ask Sandra to put another post on there to explain. Maybe
she's responding to the song I was talking about from Simon and Garfunkel.
Oh,
that's the name of the song. I'd rather be.
There you go. Thank you, Sandra.
Yes, I would.
Yeah. Okay.
I know that song now.
I surely would. Yep.
I do. Yeah.
I couldn't remember it because I'm I'm not that old, so I don't remember it.
Oh. That's it. Junior wears cool socks. We don't. So. Anyways, folks, we're gonna just about to end this thing here. Once soon as we find out where Michael went,
he fell off stage,
disappeared.
Oh, there we go. All right, Mike. Listen, we really appreciate you coming on the show tonight, and don't be a stranger. Come back on anytime or whatever. If you got something to promote, keep in touch with us over here. You're part of the family now, so you got to stick around. And really appreciate the live show tonight. And you have, you've made history here on the show because you're the first one on this show with Bling and Junior to play electric. You shredded. Cool. Yeah, that's it. And it worked out. I mean, it wasn't distorted at all. I mean, there were some levels or whatever. Sometimes you can hear the guitar better than others, but in general, it was just, what a great performance, man. Thanks and appreciate it. And if you are interested in going out and seeing Michael live, get your ass out there, get to his website, which I remember. It's mja.global. Right? Am I right? MJA. That's what I said. MJM. That's what I said. MJM.global. Right? Am I right? MJM.global. It's right on his t-shirt, folks. So I can't go wrong. But hey, for some of you people who are listening on Sunday's show, the audio version of this, or you might not be able to see that. So hey, isn't that great when you're doing video and audio at the same time? So next time you come back, I want you to play that song for me. I'd rather be a hammer than a nail on that cool little instrument of yours, the 10-stringer.
Oh, good.
So, really?
See if we can get that going.
No pressure.
No pressure. No
okay, well, I'll have a look at the song and see.
Yeah. Okay. If I think it's on Simon and Garfunkel's Sounds of Silence album.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
I know that.
Pretty sure.
Yeah, that was a good album.
Yeah.
So hook me up at any of the Ontario shows. You know where I am on Georgian Bay. There, Michael, so anything handy or there, send me a message there, and I'll take a drop down and meet you in person.
Where are you in Georgian Bay? On Georgian Bay?
Just in Midland, Penetang.
Oh, okay. That's pretty close. Beautiful.
Yeah,
Great.
yeah.
Yeah. Hey, you ever go to the Indian village there?
I do. I'm also Métis, so I help out Niche Radio. So yes, very much so. I do.
I mean the museum Indian village.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I've had
Yeah.
family videos of that from 60 years ago. Actually, like
Oh,
before I
nice.
was born, my
Yeah.
my dad and my family went there and filmed it.
Yeah.
And
Nice.
you'd love to see them because that's how it looked back then.
I agree.
Yeah. It's quite. Yeah. It's different. It's all the way it was in the 19.
Well, listen, you lived next to Lake Huron, and Huron Indian tribe or whatever was very, very part of Canada's history or whatever.
Very
So
much.
there's got to be
Yeah.
a little bit of native background there for sure.
Yep. Yeah.
Um,
Really cool.
yeah. So, anyways, folks, coming up next after the show here, we have got John Blakemore and the Valley. Yeah, we're going totally Christian now, which is what we do here. We're able to combine great classic rock and Christian music at the same time here on the station, and it's one of our specialties. So coming up just after the show here, folks, you have got yourself some wonderful music all the way up until 1 p.m. in the morning, a repeat of Friday's show, which is really weird because right now it's Thursday for me and Junior. We're broadcasting on Sunday, so if you're listening in on Sunday now, we're Sunday, and then all of a sudden Friday, which is tomorrow, is when the Valley plays, and then it's playing right after our show. It's very confusing, but just tune in Sunday night, or if you already are tuned in Sunday night, man, this is getting too confusing, Junior. What are we going to do here?
What I would like to do is end the show on this thoughts and prayers for the awful thing that's happened in Texas, and of course what's still going on in Ukraine. So I do want to make sure that gets put out there.
Yeah, definitely. And our thoughts and prayers go out to John Derringer, which we won't even go into. I blew that one on you, baby.
What happened? What's going on with John Derringer?
Oh, we can't talk about it.
Hang on. I don't want to get I don't want to go there. Mike, go to my wall on my Facebook and you'll find it. Okay.
You'll find out.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
I can't believe you just said that. I didn't say it.
Lots of friends at Q107, right?
I want to see that blonde do a nice video about me, which would be.
But
good,
here's
you know?
what I will say. I can say the morning show, Michael, has been suspended. You can look up the information on anything else. I don't want to say any more than that.
Really?
That's it.
Well, you know, I've heard a lot of scruffy things on that morning show in the years.
Yeah.
And he's not talking Scruff Connors, are you?
Look, we had look. All I can tell you is, look, we had Derringer in Montreal for about 6 months, and then he went back to Toronto. He didn't work out over here. On he was playing on our local classic rock station, Shome, and stuff. And to us, it was more like because Montreal's a very old city, of course, and it's very hard. Recently, we had like our local station who started. They brought in a guy from Toronto to do the morning show, and a lot of people
It never works in Montreal.
That wouldn't work.
A Toronto person can't come in here because we're very like it's a very artsy fartsy type of city here, and you people are very personal about radio over here.
Yeah, it never works.
And so the show's really coming off like Virgin Radio type of style, you know.
That's what this is here, by the way. Real
and it's a
quickly,
classic rock station, so it's just not working. And
I did a guest spot with Derringer that long ago, so he signed the jacket that I wore when I worked there back in the day. There, so
you might want to burn that now, buddy. You don't want to have any ties.
Yeah.
There you go.
Anyway,
So that's it for us.
Want to hang on to it. I want to thank you guys, Bling and Junior, for welcoming myself, Michael J. Miller of MJM.
Yeah.
And thanks for playing our tunes and letting me play the guitar. It was a lot of fun.
It was a blast. We'll do it again.
Yeah, let's do it again. And I want to thank everybody for watching the Bling and Junior show.
Yeah.
And rock and roll. Make sure you check out the MJM site.
Yeah.
MJM.global.
That's it. You want to get one of those cool t-shirts, and I'm going to describe it to the audio people. It's a beautiful black shirt with MJM on it, and it's a really cool logo. So it's something you'd like to wear.
Yeah, you can get an Alien t-shirt, or you can get an MJM t-shirt.
There you go. Because aliens are cool.
Yeah. Yeah. Hey, if the sound wasn't working on the last transmission of my video, maybe try them again.
Yeah, that's it.
If you
Check
get
it
the
out.
sound working. Okay,
Yeah,
I'm
everything.
going to sign up. Thank you very much for the fun time. Had a blast.
Thank you,
Great,
Michael
guys.
J. Miller. And that's it
See you
for
down the
us
road,
here
Mike.
tonight, folks.
I'll look
Take
you
care,
up.
Mike.
Okay,
All right,
Blaine. Okay, Junior.
excellent.
Good
Thanks a
night.
lot,
Thank
man.
you.
Appreciate it.
Signing out.
Ciao. All right, so anyways, that's it for me and Junior here for this week, and we got
Yeah.
another great. You're gonna have to just stay tuned to our Facebook page and stuff like that, and find out who our next guest is going to be next week. And man, we have. By the way, we're booked way past June now, eh? And
Yeah.
one of the bands that we are going to be interviewing, I've been trying to get an interview with them for a long time because they've been sitting on our ass. It's an amazing band. You probably heard one of our tracks on the station, Junior. It's called Miracle. It's a band called Run the Red Light from Vancouver.
All right. Nice.
And they finally, like John says, they're not budging. I can't seem to get an interview with. I says, tell them Bling is asking. And so right away they go, okay, we'll get our shit together and so on. Because I've had them on the show for many, many years in the past and stuff. And I'm looking forward to finding out what they're doing.
Yeah.
And if they feel like they're not on the map anymore, I'm going to put their ass back on the map. I love it. They're an amazing band, great talent, two brothers, man, just incredible group. You're gonna love them.
Cool.
So that's it, Junior. Thanks a lot, man.
Obviously, yeah. We'll catch you next week. Have fun. So we don't go into overtime and ruin the other show. So peace out. Thanks everybody for tuning in, and we'll talk to you next week on the Bling and Junior Show.
Indie Scene with Bling and Junior here on IndieRockRadio.ca. Coming up, we got the Valley. Here comes John Blakemore here on IndieRockRadio.ca.